So the movie theater that we went to
Mhm.
is like I was going to say it's like your second home, but the reality is it's more like that's where you live. But it doesn't come with a bed. So you got to come back here and sleep.
Yeah. So, I mean, most weekend days, one or the other of them, I go to AMC Veterans here in Tampa. I put in like an 8-hour shift, watching multiple movies back to back. And
what do they pay you?
They don't.
Oh,
they don't.
You pay them.
I do. I pay for like popcorn and drinks sometimes.
I don't know, man. I think you're getting duped. I think you're getting bamboozled.
I don't know. I think I come out a little bit on top sometimes, just with the amount of movies that I see with my AMC A-list.
Yeah, but sometimes the movies that you see are terrible.
Sometimes.
You saw Madam Web in theaters.
I did.
Yeah,
I
saw Morbius.
I did not see Morbius.
I thought you saw it when it came back out.
Oh, no, I did see Morbius. Damn it.
Your brain is like, no, please.
I didn't see Craven. That's the one I didn't see.
That was a moment where I was truly concerned about you as a person. Like, as a friend. I was like, you were like, well, I mean...
I saw the other two.
You were like, there's a showtime for it. And I was like, please don't. Like, come on. You know what this is going to be. Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't watched it.
Neither have I. I've also not seen Madam Web.
Oh, don't.
No, or Morbius. I have no interest in that. I famously don't like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But again, his villains are only as good as he is. And if he's not in them, then what the fuck do we care?
But speaking of superhero films.
Yes. Oftentimes you will, if it's a really big feature, you'll invite like a group of us. But everybody always says no because we're friends with almost exclusively performers. So their weekends are always busy.
Yeah, they booked.
But we perform doing this and we don't record on the weekends.
Yeah, we make our own schedule.
Yeah, we're our own bosses. Only here, though.
Yeah.
In this paradise that is the Third Channel podcast. But I have gone to see many more movies with you, kind of in the lead up to our show and also during. We've seen a lot of horror movies, some good, some bad. We've seen one of the most recent movies we saw in theaters was Deadpool and Wolverine, which was a good experience. But we then saw over this last weekend, because you had seen it the once and had raved about it. So we went and saw Superman together.
Right.
And now we have an opportunity here to talk about a movie that isn't either actually terrifying or schlock, which is a refreshing window of opportunity.
Yeah, you're right.
I loved it. And I know that the only reason I was like, no, I want to go see this is because you had talked so highly about it.
Yeah. I had seen it its opening week in IMAX 3D, and I really, really enjoyed it. I don't have a lot of negative to kind of pull from it. Seeing it on the big screen I thought was important. And so I'm glad that you wanted to go, because then we got to experience it in Dolby Cinema, which is another, thing that I love.
You and I have seen movies in IMAX 3D. You and I have seen movies in IMAX, and the IMAX cell that they have in that theater is amazing. But that Dolby theater, if I am given the option, I will always pick Dolby.
Yeah.
I think that the sound is the thing that makes a movie experience good. And good Lord, was this, I mean, every part of that movie was great, but just the rumble of the action was so good. Guys, if you haven't seen Superman, go see it. You and I both are big DC comic fans. What's funny is I would say you at this point are probably more of a DC Comics fan than I am.
I mean, maybe you've certainly read more than I have, and probably like watch more of the cartoons and things like that. I just think that you're more well versed in that universe.
Sure.
So it is that thing of like watching this. It was like, ooh, I hope that this does the things that you want it to, being a fan.
Yeah. Were there any standout performances for you in this? Because we talk performances in this show a lot.
Yeah, my standout. I mean, I think Clark and Superman is great.
Yeah.
But it's really Lois Lane for me is the standout.
I mean, she's wonderful. The actress that plays Lois,
Rachel Brashana.
Yeah. Is the only thing I know her from is Miss Maisel. I don't know the whole name of that show. It's like the
Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Yeah, okay, there it is. But I've seen clips of that show and it's fine. It's great. But her in this movie was amazing.
Yeah. She really, I don't know. She's doing like she's doing her own thing, but at the same time, I had just watched all of the Christopher Reeve, like 70s, 80s Superman films. And so, like, her delivery, her voice is just a little Margot Kidder, and I love that.
For those of you who don't know who Margot Kidder is, if you are watching along with these movies with us or just are a big horror fan, she is in Black Christmas. She's like I don't remember her character's name, but she's like the surly one that drinks and gives everybody a hard time. And she's my favorite part of that movie.
Yeah.
I've seen her performance. The only Christopher Reeve Superman movie I've seen is the first, but she's great in that.
Yeah, phenomenal.
My standout, just as a fun factoid, getting to know me a little bit better, and I'll get to know you too if you fucking comment. But my favorite DC villain of all time is Lex Luthor. I love Lex Luthor. Growing up and him being involved in the animated series, I mean, he's voiced by Clancy Brown. He can pick up a barbell and just throw it across the room. He is a psychopath, but he's calculative, and just I love that character so much.
Right.
One of my favorite graphic novel series is Forever Evil, which is almost like a Lex story. So my biggest concern, I like Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah.
I like him just fine.
Yeah.
But it was like, is he going to pull this off? Holy shit, does he fucking pull it off?
Yeah.
He is so good in that movie. He is the thing that Leaving, it was like the scenes he's in and his physical performance just left me like, it is the hook that will make me go watch that movie again.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. It's the thing that I worried about the most because I was not sure how you would take that.
Yeah, no, it was nothing but whole movie was nothing but positive. I had one complaint with you the other day, and it was minor, and honestly, I don't even remember what it is.
Yeah.
You were there to see a couple other things. Did you see anything else?
Yeah, I saw Ari Aster's new film Eddington, which was it's very good, very just a lot to think about. And then I saw the new I Know What You Did Last Summer, like the Legacy sequel to the 97 franchise. And while I was watching that, somebody got arrested in the theater.
What? Hey, I've always wanted to do that. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Third Channel Podcast.
Where we delve into the horror franchises you love from the perspectives of a lifelong horror fan.
And a bitch. I'm PJ.
And I'm Derek.
And today, the only thing we're here to talk about is horror. That horror comes in the form of a movie for the first time in a few weeks that we really like.
Yeah, we do.
It is Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. This is, I think, unequivocally both of our favorite movie in this franchise.
In the franchise, for sure. Yeah.
It is tremendous. It is, and we talked about this during our rewatch. It is, if you remove 2 from your brain and don't count it as a sequel to the original Nightmare, if you skipped over that, Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors is the perfect sequel to me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. With like taking, what we know of Freddy and the universe and the dream logic and taking it to the next level.
They just stretch it so far. But in where 2, that bothered me because the way they were doing it was ill-defined and strange. In this one, it is just so whimsical and abstract. And
they add new things because the whole idea of like, our lead character can pull other people into her dream.
Yeah, it is very much, which is funny because we were talking about Superman earlier. It is very much like a superhero movie. They all discover their powers, and Freddy is like the Joker, and it's so fucking good, you guys.
Yeah.
Like last week was abysmal with Friday 5, but the thing is that basically from the jump we were like, hey, you don't need to watch this one. Just listen to us talk about it, picture it in your head like an audiobook, and just move forward with your life. You guys should watch this one.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Watch Nightmare 1, if you're listening to this podcast, my assumption is that most of you, and we've had testimony from people that don't like horror movies, but like our show, because it kind of lets them experience those horror movies and kind of feel like sitting in a room with us and talking about something and kind of being told what this thing is about, which I enjoy that feedback. But I would say, just playing the probabilities, most people are going to have watched these movies to some extent. So. I would imagine most people have seen the original Nightmare on Elm Street. But if you haven't seen this one, because a lot of people, another testimonial I've received from people that like our show is that, oh yeah, well, I've seen the first one, but I didn't go any further than that. And it's like, it is our job to then sift through the whole franchise and find the ones that are good.
Yeah.
And then find the ones that just make us go gray. The thesis of our show being, you know, what your first experiences were with these movies and then kind of how mine were and what expectations we had going in. Last week, and I don't think I've mentioned this to you, but editing through that episode, what I found is that we kind of naturally in Friday 5 talked about that at the beginning. We talked about you seeing it originally, not knowing that the killer wasn't Jason, and then what I expected it to be and how I felt about it. I think that's probably a good place to put that conversation, frame it at the beginning. So then I will ask you the question that we can get used to hearing to some extent is, you know, where did you see this movie first? About how long ago would you say that was? And what was your experience with that movie? How has that aged with you?
I feel like this one, I think a lot of the Nightmare films and a lot of the Friday films especially, I actually watched for the first time with my friend Nathan, who we've mentioned before. He's done the episode art for our episodes and for, you know, all the art that we use online. I'm sure this was one of those ones that like I watched at his house, and it's one that, because I'm trying to think like the early days of the internet, how little I might have known about this going in.
Yeah, especially because, you know, with the series so far, it's like the first one's weird. The second one is so weird. So it's like, oh, well, where does this go?
Yeah. But then it's the thing of like not enjoying the second one at that time. And then, you know, hearing, because it's like you hear different people's opinions on these franchises. And so it's like you hear that 3 is good and you're like, okay, well, like hopefully. And you hear that, you know, Nancy's back and that's why it's good.
Yeah, sure.
And I mean, yeah, I can attest to that.
Cool. And the rewatches, does it hold up to
Oh
those?
My God, so much.
Yeah.
It does everything that I want this series to do, continuing that thread from the first one, and bringing her back in a way that makes sense and shows like character growth and that she's gotten through the trauma of what happened to her in that first film. And she's gone on to like go to college and she's like a psychologist or a psychiatrist or whatever. And she, you know, she's now doing what she can to help others who are unfortunately in her same situation. And so like in a lot of horror franchises, you have this strong, you know, female lead who we're getting to watch overcome those things and like come back and be even more of the hero.
Yeah, for sure. You know, obviously the way I watched these movies was just a couple years ago for the first time each. I've only ever seen them the one time until our rewatches. But you know, my expectation, and I've kind of covered this. My expectation of Freddy is that Freddy said bitch a lot and he was super silly. I had seen the clip of him, you know, as like the Wicked Witch of the West. And it's like, oh, so he's a cartoon. He's like evil burn victim, child murderer, Bugs Bunny. And then you see the first Nightmare and it's like, oh, okay, they haven't gotten there yet. But you can tell, like, you can see where they might pull some of the weirdness from, especially when he's long arms Freddy. It looks like a wacky tube guy.
Freddy.
Yeah, he's the rarest Freddy. But then you've got two completely derails my expectations, and I have no idea where this franchise is going. But you were very careful when we watched all these, and you didn't. The only one that you were really like, oh, you're gonna love was Jason X because
because it's the best one.
No, because you knew I wasn't gonna like it, and you knew that if you had said it enough, maybe you could influence me, and it just didn't work.
I don't know. I think it's because it's the best.
We just lost so many fans because they found out I don't like Jason X. Guys, there's a reason. Just wait a couple months. But we watched Nightmare 3. and it starts, and it's kind of the same premise as 2. It's just now it's Patricia Arquette, and it's like, oh, I love Patricia Arquette. And I'm like, okay, well, this is interesting. And then, yeah, Nancy's back, and it's so plot heavy, but the effects are just constantly surrounding the film, and they're all just so good. And it's like, you guys got to remember, I didn't watch this after 2. I watched this after 2, and then Friday 5, and then this movie.
Actually, that's a good point that I haven't made in the last 2 episodes, but kind of in the way that we're watching these things. Thematically, Friday 5 and Nightmare 2 are both movies where the main villain of the franchises, Freddy and Jason, aren't seemingly the ones doing the killings.
They're seemingly not the ones doing the killings, and they then don't have the same rules or follow the same logic as the original killer. And there's so many questions about what their motives are and what they're doing that it was just like, okay, what the fuck is this? Like, did these fall apart well, Friday, it's like, they're 5 movies in, but Nightmare's like, damn, number 2, and it's already this weird.
Yeah.
And then we see this movie, and so my expectation for this movie is it was going to be dog shit. I just figured, this is just a franchise that's not for me. And oh man, this movie is like a deep sea fishing pole, and it just gripped my ass and pulled it up by the hole. By the way,
wow,
all the way out of that glacier and up onto frozen dry land. I don't know where I was going with that. No. It's really good. My expectations did not, not knowing what this was even going to be like from a franchise level going into this, I was thrilled. I'm very excited to talk about this movie.
Yeah, same.
We do just have that skosh of housekeeping. The same housekeeping as it was last week. It's going to be the housekeeping for the next few weeks. And what's funny is that it might be the housekeeping for the next few weeks, but we'll have to look at our calendar because we don't want to talk about this if the voting's over.
Yeah.
Like we said last week, thank you so much. You guys as a fan base have nominated us for Best of the Bay. We have talked a lot about what it means for us over the last couple weeks, and we are just thrilled that we were nominated. It is great, and we're over the moon. And if we win, we have a plan. If we win, we're going to use the clout of being an award-winning podcast to then use our newfound media credit, and we're going to purchase Shudder, the streaming series.
Right.
And then Joe Bob Briggs, horror host of The Last Drive-In, we will become his boss.
Oh,
and when we are his boss, he will have to be on every episode of this show.
Oh.
And we'll call it the third drive-in channel. The last third. We'll figure that out.
Yeah, that's later. That's once we win.
But if you guys want Joe Bob Briggs to be our employee, not Darcy, she's way cooler than we are. There's no way we're landing that.
Man, she could handle our socials, though. That would be really nice.
Oh, my God. Well, what's funny is that you're handling it now. So would it be nice because you want the pressure of handling socials off your back, or because you understand that you are not going to be as good at it?
Yeah, it's both of those things.
It can be both.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, if you have the time, you can vote every day. That's crazy for us to ask. But if you remember and you like our show a lot, like we like you a lot, that would be great. It's a showing of mutual love. Just if you vote, comment on an episode. We will thank you in these episodes if you do. It's the least we can do is give you a shout out to the other people that you know that watch this and maybe pressure them into voting too.
Speaking of that, I will give a shout out to our friend Danny.
Yes.
She's been voting every day. And as well as, you know how your sister, Caroline, we talked about before where I woke up one day and I had like 30, 40
Instagram
notifications.
Likes,
yeah. Danny did the same thing the other day. She went through all of our Instagram. So there was like 100 notifications at this point.
That's amazing.
But thank you, Danny, for that.
Yeah. Speaking of Caroline and has made her entire household, including a different household that is including all of the members of my family. She's basically making them all vote every day. At the very least, she is. So also thank you, Caroline. You guys prove every day that you're our biggest fans. But yeah, it's great. And we are very excited, and hopefully we win. That'd be really cool.
And while you're voting, in the same entertainment category, you go to Best Producer, and then in parentheses, Beat Maker. just to specify. And believe it or not, producer Ty, Fly Guy Ty, is in that category. So please give him a vote as well.
Yeah, if you've ever listened to our intro theme and you thought, man, those beats are dope. That is because Ty is a very, very talented guy. He is our producer. When we create these episodes and finish them, I will go through and edit them, but I take all of those notes and I send that all to Ty. And so the reason we sound nice and the reason that we have, because some feedback we've gotten is we have for amateurs, we have a surprisingly professional sound. That is because that motherfucker is a genius and he's so impressive to watch work. So yeah, give a shout out to, throw a vote Ty's way, throw a vote our way. If you have the time, all three of us would be grateful. Because that's another thing is that if we win, Ty wins.
Yeah.
He's a part of this show and it would be amazing. Okay. All of that to say, I am now going to open my phone. I'm going to spend a few minutes responding to these text messages that I have from Carly and my sister and my brother. So give me a minute. Actually, no. A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. If you think you'll get out alive, you must be dreaming. That's good. I actually really like that. During a hallucinatory incident, Kristen Parker has her wrist slashed by dream-stalking monster Freddy Krueger. Her mother, mistaking the wounds for a suicide attempt, sends her to a psychiatric ward where she joins a group of similarly troubled teens. I like that they call him a monster in every single one of these descriptions. Like, he's not a demon necessarily. They call him that a couple times, but
no, I like that description. It's kind of like this one we talked about with the first movie. They say something about like, teens that are like killing themselves or and it was like, that's a bit of a stretch. But this one literally is about like teens that have been put away because of that.
Yeah, they are all of them in this like psychiatric ward because they are on suicide watch.
Yeah, because of the things that Freddy is doing to them.
Yeah. Walker Watch. We agree.
What?
I gave this movie 4.5 stars. So did Walker.
Wow.
Yeah.
He actually likes the thing that we like.
He did, which is funny because that is like, even a clock is weird most of the time. Anyway.
A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors was released February 27th of 1987. Directed by Chuck Russell, written by Wes Craven. He actually came back for this one.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Wes Craven.
Also written by Bruce Wagner, Frank Darabont, and Chuck Russell, the director. It's produced by Robert Shea and Wes Craven. So again, Wes having a hand in this one, I believe is why it is as good as it is.
Yeah.
Whether or not he really like did all that much, on set or anything, it's like I just think having his kind of voice and presence makes all the difference.
Do you remember when we were very beginning, we were going over Scream, and it's like, Scream 3, it struggles a bit. We liked it better with the rewatch, but it struggles a little bit. But it's like all four of those movies, even the things that we would complain about, are leagues and bounds above the things that we have to complain about recently.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, because this is the sixth film then that Wes Craven has a hand in, either as a director, a writer, a producer, whatever. And it's like, everything that he's involved in is very good.
He's wonderful.
Yeah, him and John Carpenter.
Yes. Our cinematography for this film is done by Roy H. Wagner. He had worked on several like slasher movies, Meat Cleaver Massacre in '76. He was in, he did the cinematography for Witchboard in '86, which is a like supernatural, basically a Ouija board movie. He did Return to Horror High, which was a slasher comedy from '87. And then he was the cinematographer for the Beauty and the Beast TV show that ran from like 87 to 1990. He did 5 episodes of that. I don't know if I've never watched it, but it's Ron Perlman as the Beast, as far as I'm aware.
What?
And Linda Hamilton.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I didn't know this existed.
Yeah, it ran for several seasons.
There's something about this series because like I did not know that there was a Robert Englund Phantom of the Opera movie either.
Yeah. But Roy Wagner, he actually won an Emmy during that show. And then he also shot 6 episodes of Quantum Leap, the like sci-fi
Scott Bakula.
Yeah, with Scott Bakula. And he won an Emmy for those episodes as well.
Quantum Leap. won an Emmy.
Well, at least the cinematographer did.
It's because he leapt back in time and then he was that guy and he made the episode.
Yeah. I've never seen that show.
I think that's how that works.
I would like to, though. I've heard good things.
When we have the time to watch something else, we will watch Quantum Leap one day.
The editor is Terry Stokes. He had worked on The Blob in '88, which is a remake that was directed by Chuck Russell.
Interestingly enough, it's also a Wolverine villain.
Did you say blurb? The Book of Love, a 1990 film by Robert Shea. He also edited Critters 3 and 4. And then he worked on the Disney Channel original movies. Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century.
Okay.
Horse Sense. Miracle in Lane 2. The Other Me. Ultimate Christmas Present. Xenon the Sequel. Jumping Ship. A Ring of Endless Light. You Wish. Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off. The Cheetah Girls. Xenon Z3. And Dad Napped.
Okay. I have heard of the 3 Xenon movies. Because that's when I was very young.
Right.
And then I have seen Cheetah Girls. That's Raven Simone. Because my little sister liked that movie. So...
yeah, I've seen a few of these. Horse Sense and Jumping Ship are in the same, like, Jumping Ship is the sequel to Horse Sense.
Okay. Like everyone listening, would like you to do your best to give me a synopsis on what the fuck Horse Sense is about.
I can't remember much of Horse Sense other than it takes place on a ranch and it stars the Lawrence brothers.
Do they have the senses of a horse?
No, yeah, that's what the movie is.
Okay. You know what? Fine. Let's move past this.
But yeah, I just thought that was fascinating.
That's amazing.
And if you lost count, I believe that was 13 Disney Channel original movies that this editor worked on.
If only this was a review about Friday the 13th, then we'd be like, oh shit, but it's not. So, oh well.
Also edited by Chuck Weiss, who worked on The Outing, a 87 supernatural horror film. Also the editor on Nightmare on Elm Street 4 Dream Master, Nightmare on Elm Street 5 Dream Child, and the 96 TV action drama Martial Law starring Jimmy Smits.
Oh shit. That's Basil Oregano.
The budget on this film is a little more than last time, 4.3 to 4.6 million.
That feels like that.
Yeah, over the 3 million that the previous film was, and it brought in a bit more for the box office as well. 44.8 million over that 30 million from last time.
For those of you wondering why there are so many more horror movies than there are anything else, it is because this cost $4 million to make, where Endgame, is going to cost however many,
like 200
hundreds of millions of dollars. And then, Endgame brings in $1 billion, which is way more. But if you can make 6 fucking nightmare movies and each of them cost a couple million and each of them bring tens of millions of dollars in, those are easier and the studio is happier far more often.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's why we get where we are.
I'm happy about this, that this made so much. It's like you want your favorites to succeed,
Yeah. This is actually, it is the 3rd highest grossing film of the franchise. After Freddy vs. Jason and Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. So those actually come in higher.
Dream Master made more. Dream Master's good. I'm looking forward to it from my recollection. But
this series, made more money with the sequels up until then, and then kind of, petered back off. Whereas Friday kind of up and down a bit more, and they still just went on for 10 movies before it finally kind of died.
People weren't excited to watch a movie called Freddy's Dead?
No.
Because it kind of spoils it a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Writer-director Chuck Russell, like I mentioned, he did The Blob, which was an 88 remake of the 1958 original. Stars Shawnee Smith, who is in the Saw franchise.
Okay.
He also directed The Mask, the 94 Jim Carrey film.
I love that movie.
He did Eraser, which is an action film from 96 starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then he did a 2000 supernatural horror film called Bless the Child, also starring Jimmy Smits. And then he worked on, he directed The Scorpion King with Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
You know what's interesting about The Scorpion King is that for a very long time in my life, because I love the original Mummy movie. I love that movie. But The Scorpion King, going into that, you know, we talk about the newbie experience of but this is old head shit. Like I saw that movie like just a little bit after it came out, rented that from a Blockbuster, I think with my grandparents, super excited for it. So for the longest time, that movie was the worst movie I'd ever seen. I would go on to see worse, but holy shit, that movie's bad.
I didn't know where you were going with that.
I like to, I like to do that. I like to confuse it.
But the next thing that Chuck Russell is working on is a remake of Witchboard, which I mentioned with the cinematographer, which was so this is the remake of the 86 original, and it's starring Jamie Campbell Bower, who is a name that you probably don't recognize, but you do know this guy. He was Vecna in Stranger Things 4.
Oh, very cool. I like that guy a lot.
And yeah, the few things that I have seen him in, I enjoy that performer a lot.
Because there's something else that he was in as well that he was just incredible in, and I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, things that I've seen him in that I'm like can rattle off right now. He is in a couple of the Harry Potter movies for a brief cameo as Grindelwald.
Okay.
He is in some of the Twilight movies, if I'm not mistaken, as like and then he is in Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd. Okay, thank you. Yeah, because he's tremendous in that. I'm excited for that then.
The producer is Robert Shea. We know him. We love him. He's on all these movies. Our story and screenplay were written by Wes Craven. Again, we have talked about him a great deal, and we love him. It was also worked on by Bruce Wagner, who did a 84 comedy called Young Lust, an 89 satire called Scenes from the Class Struggle in Beverly Hills. He also worked on the TV sci-fi drama White Dwarf from 95 and a movie called Maps to the Stars in 2014, which is a satire. The screenplay is by Frank Darabont, and he wrote The Blob as well for Chuck Russell. He also wrote The Fly 2, which was the sequel to the Goldblum film. And he wrote The Shawshank Redemption, which he also directed.
Wow.
He wrote Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which is the one with Kenneth Branagh.
Okay.
He directed The Green Mile, another Stephen King adaptation.
Jesus Christ.
He directed The Mist in 2007.
Oh my God.
And then he developed The Walking Dead for television. So, and he was like the showrunner for the first season.
Now, The Walking Dead, I have never seen.
What?
And I will tell you why. Spooky zombies scare me.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Oh, yeah. I guess it's been long enough that I can reintroduce that fun fact. Guys, I love zombie video games. They're in like my favorite subgenre of video games. If you put any TV or movie in front of me, like Shaun of the Dead even, if you put something with zombies in a movie in front of me, I will not be able to get through it. I'll have night terrors.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
I've tried. The music in this film is done by Angelo Badalamenti.
That's cool.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
If that's right.
And he is someone who does he's done a lot of scores for David Lynch. So he did the scores for Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks, Wild at Heart, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, which is the prequel film, Lost Highway, The Straight Story, Mulholland Drive. But then he also did the score for Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist, which is the 2005 Stellan Skarsgård film, which is the recut version of Exorcist the Beginning, which is the one that we watched together.
That is one of those that I am dreading getting to because there are so many high notes in the Exorcist series. And then like the newest one was really bad. And oh Lord. Yeah. That's going to be a rough one.
That one's going to be rough.
Just like these are. Just like they all are.
They really are.
I don't know why I even mentioned that shit anymore. All of these are both amazing and bad. It's why we started with Scream and Evil Dead, because it's like, well, at least those are solid the whole way through.
Truly. So following the critical failure, talking about a movie that didn't do well, of Nightmare on Elm Street 2, New Line Cinema was not sure that they wanted to continue this series. Because Wes Craven didn't participate in the second film, he didn't really want the original to evolve into a franchise, but he was very dissatisfied with what Freddy's Revenge did, and so he signed on to co-write the screenplay for the third installment and hoping to like end the series with this one. He was unavailable for directing at the time. He was filming Deadly Friend, And so he came on as a producer and a writer.
Can you imagine, though, that conversation of like, okay, so Mr. Craven, may I call you Mr. Craven? We fucked this whole thing up real bad.
Oh, I'm aware.
And he's like, whoever's having, Robert Shea is like talking to him like, listen, we are friends. You have to save me. I have fucked my financial situation here. I will never financially recover from Freddy's Revenge. You have to help me. And Wes is like, okay, listen, I will do this, but I am only going to write a treatment. Then I'm going to sit my ass in a chair and look at dailies. I'm not giving anyone any direction. I'm going to sit in the back with you. And he's like, sold.
Better than nothing.
Yeah.
Craven's first concept for this movie was to have Freddy Krueger invade the real world. He would haunt the actors filming a new Nightmare on Elm Street sequel. And then, but New Line Cinema rejected that. Didn't like the whole meta cinematic idea, which of course then years later.
Scream 3, yeah.
Yeah. That's what it was. He has said that we decided that we could no longer be like one person fighting Freddy. It had to be a group because the souls of Freddy's victims had made him stronger.
Oh my God, I just got why you did that. Because I referenced Scream 3. You're like, yeah. It's like, oh, guys, wait till you get to Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Oh, I totally forgot about that. This is amazing. He did that twice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I am floored.
Wes Craven also called Heather Langenkamp to ask her if he could include Nancy in the script, which she agreed to. I'm thankful that she did. In interviews with cast and crew, it's been revealed that like the original idea for the film centered around kids like separately traveling to a specific location to die by suicide. And then later it would be discovered that the link between all of them was that they had dreamed of Freddy Krueger. But because of the, taboo social issue of suicide, that storyline was pretty much abandoned.
Yeah.
Some aspects kind of remain, but.
One of the first things, the summary mentions the attempted suicide by Kristen, and it's like, it is rough. And seeing that in a movie this old is like surprising.
Yeah. It's, cause they lead the movie with that. And it's very much just like she's found with a straight razor in her hand. And like, there's no mystery as to what is supposed to be happening there.
I guess we should say pretty early on, I think this is an appropriate time. Trigger warning, suicide is mentioned a lot in this movie, but specifically the trigger warning that I'll get is like cutting and drug use, things like that, overdosing and whatnot. We just want to be fair. We want to give you guys an opportunity, and but there's so many of them that it will be difficult to do it every time. So just understand that if those things are very sensitive to you in your life, that this may be a rough one, but understand that it is all abstract. It's not anyone doing anything to themselves. It truly is a murderer taking advantage of their dreams. So.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. In the documentary Never Sleep Again, The Elm Street Legacy, director Chuck Russell, he stated that Craven's original script was much more like dark and profane. And Rachel Talalay, I believe is how you pronounce it.
That's cool. Yeah.
She was the producer on Hairspray and Nightmare on Elm Street 4. And then later she would direct Tank Girl and Freddy's Dead.
I love Tank Girl. I love that movie.
I think I knew that for some reason, which is why I put it in the notes. But she thought that the script seemed like a $20 million script. But that was not like feasible at the time. So they discussed more of the humorous elements of the film. Russell said that he had looked at Wes Craven and what he had done and said, this is great. It's terrifying. But, whenever I've come along now for 3, I think that, I need to take this whole idea of dreams and nightmares and make that into like kind of a carnival and go further into those dreams, making Freddy more outrageous, adding a bit of dark humor to it. And that's like, this is where we've kind of touched on this in previous discussions of like where Freddy ends up. Yeah. And this is the start of that, but none of it ever is like grating to me.
No, not in these next two, not in this one and 4. He is sillier, but it benefits the story. I feel it benefits a better glimpse into his mania because it seems psychotic. It doesn't seem like he's doing a bit. But then in the next two, it is just some of it's cringy as fuck.
Yeah.
Some of it's weird.
Yeah, it goes way too far.
Yeah.
The Royce Hall building on the University of California campus in Los Angeles was used for the exteriors of the Weston Hills Psychiatric Hospital, which is where the majority of this movie takes place, while the St. Brendan Catholic Church was used for the church scenes. Freddy's boiler room he was filmed in a converted warehouse across the street from the Los Angeles County Jail, whereas the junkyard sequence and the set itself were the product of art director Mick Strawn. He had also handled some of the film's special effects sequences and became a production designer on the sequel. It's the only set, the junkyard set's the only set that was used in more than one movie because it comes back in 4.
Nope. Please continue. We can't skip ahead. Please continue.
So the music is a big part in this one. The theme song, Dream Warriors, was written and performed by the American heavy metal band Dokken.
I can't do the whole thing, but can I just do Dream Warriors? Dream Warriors! It's the best, like, craziest hair metal song.
Yeah, like, unironically, I love this song.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Yeah.
But it would later be included on their album Back for the Attack. The single was a success, and then basically because of that, a decision was kind of made to include more heavy metal songs in the soundtrack for the rest of these movies, like sequels.
Which is funny because you'll then see that mirrored throughout the entire genre all the way up to the point where, like, by the time you get to Saw, the Saw's soundtrack is like kind of like score made in the genre of like kind of new metal and like kind of industrial. I love the twist in that because metal and horror go hand in hand.
Yeah, they really do. Another song of Dawkins is used in the movie called Into the Fire. It's what you hear at the beginning in Kristen's room whenever she turns up the radio.
Interesting. Okay.
So you get a little bit of their stuff.
Okay. So we've got 2 band recommendations at this point from these movies. We have Goblin. Because Goblin fucking kicks ass. And now Dokken Goblins. Why are they doing that? Get away from each other.
The special effects were created by a team led by Peter Chesney, and that included Kevin Yeager, who he's talked about before, and Mark Sjostrom, who he's also talked about before. The mechanical special effects coordinator was that Peter Chesney. He worked with Craven on The Serpent and the Rainbow in '88. He worked on Pet Sematary 1 and 2. He did special effects for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Honey, I Blew Up the Baby.
Do you know what's funny though is like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is so thematically different, but like the effects in that movie are astounding.
Yeah, they really are.
The effects in this movie also are astounding. So that makes sense.
Very impressive. He worked again with Craven on The People Under the Stairs and Vampire in Brooklyn. But he also did effects on Tremors 2, Men in Black, and The Ring 2.
Men in Black? Holy shit. Yeah, I mean, those are that Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, those are very impressive effect movies.
Kevin Yeager and Mark Sjostrom, I've talked about several times with the Chucky franchise and with the last 2 Nightmare movies as well. I will say this, that Mark Sjostrom, he was also working on the set of Evil Dead 2 around the same time.
Great.
And so he possibly smuggled the Freddy glove used in Dream Warriors and used it as a background prop for one day, which explains how that glove ended up in Evil Dead 2.
My question is, where in Evil Dead 2 did it end up?
Work shed.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big breaking TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got it. Freddy Krueger says bitch for the first time in one of these movies here, what would later become basically his catchphrase.
Yeah. That line was ad-libbed as far as I'm aware.
Great. That's, yeah. Michael's catchphrase, of course, is like, oh, and then one
That's
time
a
he's
good
like, "Urgh," and then Jason's is like, and then one time he's like, "Urgh," and then Freddy's like, "Bitch," and that's it.
We did it.
We do it.
Play the outro music.
Ty does that because he's our producer. One thing I like about meeting Kristen for the first time, because it's first of all, it's Patricia Arquette.
Yeah.
And she's wonderful. Let's introduce these newbies and schmoobies, hashtag newbie and schmoobie, to Patricia Arquette.
Yeah. Patricia Arquette plays our lead here, Kristen Parker. And I think this is her like film debut, if I'm not mistaken. She would later be in True Romance, the 1993 like crime thriller written by Tarantino.
Fun fact about Belle DeVelle, my beautiful lady, that is her favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
It's True Romance.
Still yet to see it. And I'm like a Tarantino diehard.
You are, yeah. And a diehard.
Well, no.
Oh, okay.
No. Patricia Arquette would also appear in Ed Wood, the 94 Tim Burton film, which also starred Johnny Depp from this franchise. She would be in the 97 David Lynch film Lost Highway. She was in a 99 supernatural horror film Stigmata. And then she was also in a little film from 2003 called Holes.
Fun fact about Belle, my beautiful lady, that's her second, unironically, that may be her second favorite movie of all time. I think she just likes Patricia Arquette.
I love that movie so much. I love the book that it's based on as well. I think it's one of the best young adult novels out there.
Yeah, for sure. If you're a fan of modern media, she's also Harmony Cobell in the hit Apple TV Plus series Severance, which I very much like. She's great in that show.
Yeah.
She's great in everything.
She's also on Medium.
Does she talk to ghosts? Because that's spooky as fuck. We meet her character, Kristen Parker, in this. And I love so much that if you like the Nightmare franchise and it picks up, you're like, oh, fuck, Freddy's fucking with her. Because she's got the coffee and the radio's blasting. And she's like, the movie opens with like, the credits are over, which, by the way, I hate glue. Like craft, like Elmer's glue. I hate it because I went to school with a glue eater. And it's like the smell of it, that fucking like, that's why I don't fuck with mayonnaise, because it's like, I can't separate those things in my mind. So immediately I'm like, ugh, like it's so gross.
Because she's doing like paper mache.
Yeah. And she is creating a house. And as she does it, you can't really tell what it is. But she is like, you see her kind of almost drift off for a second. She's like, nope. And she turns the radio up and listens to some dope ass fucking hair metal. I gotta listen to them this week and come into Friday 6 with a review of Dawkins best of. But we follow her mania, her paranoia, and her like, it's revealed why in the best way. Because the thing she's making out of paper mache is Nancy's house.
Yeah. 1428 Elm.
And it's just like, that is so cool. The red door, everything about that is so, not to be confused with Insidious's red door, which is stupid, but everything about this is great.
Correct.
Yeah.
I love how stylistic these opening credits are. It's like shot against like a black background and you're just kind of seeing like her hands do things. There's a couple odd credits in this of people who get like literally one little scene. Dick Cavett and Zsa Zsa Gabor get opening credits.
I don't even know who those people are.
They are in the clip that we just played, moments prior to that. They are, Dick Cavett is a late night, he was a late night TV show, talk show host.
Okay, like an 80s Conan?
Yes.
Okay.
And then Zsa Zsa Gabor is also like from that era. She did a lot of TV work. She is, oh my God, from The Rescuers, Disney's The Rescuers. I think she's the voice of Bianca, if I'm not mistaken.
I've never seen that.
That might be her sister, another Gabor.
Good Gabor.
But anyway, I just find it fascinating that they have opening credit titles.
Yeah, that's wild. It's also like the newspapers. Some of the newspapers that are being cut up have obvious markered headlines about what happens on Elm Street and about how there are these kids that are attempting, these horrible things. And it's like, it is the perfect way to open this movie.
Yeah.
It is nearly dialogue less. The mother, Kristen's mother comes in at one point and is like, you need to turn that music down. It's like, you're going to ruin, everybody in the neighborhood's going to be pissed. You got to stop. And it's the thing of like, that begins the theme of the adults in this movie, where every adult, with the exception of one and then eventually two, they're all like, our decisions are final. And the kids are like, I think there is dialogue of, you are fucking killing us.
Yeah,
and
they might
they're
as well
like,
be.
we don't fucking care. We're adults.
Yeah.
Which is why I smoked weed when I was a kid. I hadn't seen this movie, but I didn't like being told what to do.
But yeah, Kristen's mom comes in and makes her go to bed. It's revealed that Kristen's been having awful dreams, which we know because she's been chugging coffee this whole time. And so she goes to sleep. And then I love like the reveal of she wakes back up, and whenever she sits up in bed and the camera pulls back and reveals that her bed is now located like on the sidewalk in front of Nancy's house.
It's so good.
And there's like, I don't know, 5-6 kids in the front yard jumping, playing jump rope and throwing a ball back and forth. And there's a little girl on a tricycle, and they're all doing the Freddy rhyme.
I've always taken, let me get your opinion on this. I've always taken those, like the children that are doing this, I've always taken that as like spirits of Freddy's victims.
Yes. And that's more or less revealed in this.
Yeah.
Because Kristen follows the little girl on the trike into the house, and they go down into the basement, which we are familiar with from the last 2 films. And that's where the little girl says, this is where he takes us, as the furnace kind of like bursts into flames, as it likes to do.
Because that's the thing at the heart of all of these movies, is that Freddy is a fucking child murderer. It's like, no matter how fun you make him, no matter how cartoonish, at his core, that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that is where he started.
Yeah.
And she, as the furnace kind of bursts into flames, she says Freddy's home. And it's you just kind of feel his presence without even seeing him. You get, a little bit of the audio sting that he kind of gets. It's used so well in this movie.
Yeah.
The little, dun, 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 like that sort of thing, just in the exact moments that you need it without overkill. Kristen grabs the little girl, and they run down some long hallways. And this is where it becomes very like dream logic, like we've seen.
Yeah.
The floor becomes like kind of like pudding or like mud at some point.
Yeah.
And she is kind of running in place, and Freddy's running along behind her because he does finally make his appearance. But it's like he's almost chasing her in slow motion.
Yeah, which is and he spends a lot of the time in the first movie doing that as well, where anybody that he's coming up against, he like lets them kind of breathe that terror for a while because he's just so fucking, this is, I think, more than any slasher that we've talked about, maybe with the exception of Chucky, but even still, I think Freddy takes the cake as just the most traditionally evil. And Robert Englund obviously fucking loves it.
Yeah, he is having a ball.
Yeah.
In this
yeah.
movie. I love his performance so much. Eventually she bursts into like another room where there's all of these corpses of these like teenagers.
And it's
hanging.
disturbing.
It is.
I am on the record on this show and just kind of in general with horror that I think the most disturbing silhouette is a hanged human body. It's just fucking creepy.
And I am on the record in saying that I think the scariest thing that I've ever seen is then what we follow this with is she looks down at the little girl who's been talking, up at her in her arms. And the little girl is now a spooky skeleton.
A chattering skeleton. Hey, look over there on that wall.
Oh, God.
We got a fucking skeleton. It was a grown man, though. We're not evil.
Right.
We just kill regular people, not anybody else.
Let's specify that.
Yeah.
Kristen wakes up and she goes into her bathroom. And like
such a good effect. The fucking like the knob that you use in a sink, and it's like an old fashioned one, so it's like almost like a cardinal direction where the actual knob is like then broken into one like a north, south, east, west little kind of nubbin. and it very Tim Burton.
Yeah.
It's like stop motion, and it first of all, each of the, and this reminded me of Freddy's Revenge as the claws, the razors kind of grow out of Jesse's fingertips. They instead grow out of those nubbins on the little water, twisty thing. We don't know any of this.
Yeah.
We do movies. We don't do maintenance.
Yeah, we're not plumbers.
We hate the Mario Brothers. I'm not Luigi Mario, but the claws come out of this sink handle and it raises up on the pipe that it's connected to. And it's like slashing at her. And it's so good.
Yeah.
It's such a cool effect.
And like Freddy appears in the mirror, which is it's a very simple effect, but I think it's cool the way that the camera kind of transitions over and he's there. But blood splatters across the mirror. And then her mom comes in, and that's when she's found Kristen with, her wrist is slashed and she's holding a straight razor.
Now, this establishes something that Freddy's Revenge never did. And it was, if you've listened to that review, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, this was my biggest complaint. What is happening in the real world versus what is a dream? It's never specified. Those lines are blurred that whole movie. And in this one scene, Wes takes that and steers it back into his own rules, which is in her dream, she is being attacked by her sink and it grows claws and it slashes at her. But she is sleepwalking. And in the real world, she has taken a razor and has slashed her wrists.
Yeah. And it's it's a harrowing thing, but it's a really simple effect to pull off and make you understand the dream logic there.
And she's like pleading with her mother, like, I didn't do this. Like, Mom, help. And it's like, God, Patricia Arquette is so good. And she's young in this.
Yeah.
Like, she couldn't have been 20. Like, she's so good. And the mom is good as well. But the mom, the reason I have a hard time signing on to the performance is probably because of its strength. Because her mom is a bitch.
Yeah.
Her mom sucks.
Well, and we reiterate that the parents in this town are not great. And there's a reason that Freddy is coming after their kids.
There's a reason Freddy made the mom in Nightmare 1 a blow-up doll and pulled her through a window. And it's because he wanted to pop her.
Well, that'd be really easy with his claws.
No, he got like a push pin or something. He's like, I'm not using these on you.
We then move to the Weston Hills Psychiatric Hospital, where we are introduced to Dr. Neil Gordon, who's played by Craig Wasson.
If you guys like Saw, we also think it's funny that there's a Dr. Gordon in this.
Yeah. Now, would you think, because like a couple weeks ago we talked about Friday the 13th, the final chapter, where Corey Feldman as Tommy Jarvis, his dog, his name is Gordon. So I have to ask.
Yeah, here's what happened, because I see where you're going. Here's what happened. Gordon leaps out of the window to escape the horrors of Jason Voorhees. And he runs his ass all the way to Ohio, where he becomes a man who looks strikingly like Bill Maher, becomes a doctor of psychology, and then decides to help people fight their own monsters, because Dr. Gordon, the Labrador man, is a wonderful person.
He really is.
In Freddy's Revenge, Lisa, the love interest, looks exactly like Meryl Streep, like 100%, almost indistinguishable.
It's
looks
distracting.
like yeah. In this, Dr. Gordon he looks a bit like Bill Maher, like quite a bit, but it's not that same level.
Yeah, no, Kmart, Bill Maher.
Kmart,
but he's played by Craig Wasson.
Spell it.
Wasson.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's another example of like what you would think would be easy, but it's like, no, well, hold on. Where would Christopher Walken put the like focus? Would it be Wasson,
Probably.
Yeah, okay.
He was in the 77 disaster suspense film Roller Coaster, the 80 slasher Schizoid, the 81 supernatural horror film Ghost Story, and then he's in Brian De Palma's thriller from 84, Body Double.
Based on his filmography, he seems like a horror actor.
I try whenever I do this to find the stuff that they've really done in the genre.
Sure, yeah.
And if not, then.
But typically, rule of thumb is if you have that many,
Yeah.
He's good in this.
Yeah, I like his performance.
I like his performance, and I like the way his character is written. Because his character is asked a lot of in this movie.
Yes.
To be a professional psychiatrist having to then believe that all of these things that you can use science to fundamentally describe, you can't, you're being told by somebody that you've just met, like, I know that this is not science. I know that this is basically magic. And if you don't trust me, all of these kids are going to die. And it's like, eventually so many of them do that you have to just take the chance. And it's like, yeah, he plays all of that very well. It's never over the top, but it is always believable.
Well, and so much of his journey in this movie plays into as he starts having these visions of this nun. And so it's this question of science versus faith.
Which I think that is actually an unintentional spoiler because, at least for my watching, in the beginning, the first time, it's Sister Mary Helena, correct?
Yeah, I believe so, because we see it at the very end on her gravestone, Sister Mary Helena.
Okay. And then in Evil Dead, is it Harriet?
I think it's Henrietta.
God damn it. Oh, God. I'm bad with names, y'all. You all know that. I don't even feel bad anymore. You know what? Fuck you, Derek. You're bad at names, too. I just can't remember them at all. You don't know how to pronounce them, but I can't remember them at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this character. I don't know the name of the actress, but she reminds me of Aunt. I think it's Aunt Spiner from James and the Giant Peach.
Oh yeah,
it's a very similar sort of skeletal face. I don't mean to besmirch that lady. She's very talented, and I love James and the Giant Peach. But I don't think this is the same woman.
Right. No, she is Nan Martin, who was a American actress and comedian. She'd done a lot of TV work. I may have her later in the notes. I cannot remember, if I'm being completely honest.
Her performance isn't very funny in this.
No. That's what they hired her for, and she did a terrible job.
But like behind the scenes, she's like Robin Williams. She's cutting everybody up.
Yeah.
She's like, waka waka. You're like, oh shit, that's Fozzie or whatever.
We're also introduced in this scene to like one of the orderlies there at Weston Hills, who is Max Daniels, played by Larry Fishburne. Maybe you've heard of him.
Yeah. It is funny because I didn't know that he made the switch in his career from Larry Fishburne to Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
This has got to be very early.
Like he had done a couple things before this, but this was kind of one of his bigger roles.
You can tell he would go on to do amazing things because this is a bit part in a horror movie, and he is great.
He still stands out.
Yeah, he does. And it's like he stands out. His character seems sympathetic, but his character seems like lawful in that he follows along the orders of because he has no real objective reason not to.
Right.
And I mean, he's so good. He's not a foible to them in any way, but he is just so like, he's the rigid like guard, but that likes and loves all these kids.
Exactly. Because he does let them get away with things from time to time, which is nice. And he's not like, we're shown a couple of the other orderlies, which we won't even really get into in this discussion.
One of them, surprise, surprise, it's a horror movie. One of the hospital employees is a sex creep.
Yeah. But Larry Fishburne, he would go on later to be in Event Horizon, which was a 97 sci-fi horror film, which I absolutely love.
Haven't seen it.
He is in The Matrix in 99 and the following two films there as Morpheus.
I'm going to lose some fans here. I've never seen a Matrix movie.
Really?
Yeah. I can't believe you didn't know that. Yeah.
I did not know that.
I've never seen a single Matrix movie.
Oh, man. I love The Matrix.
That's what I'm saying is like the people that love those, there's nobody that likes The Matrix. Anyone who likes that series, it is full blown love.
Yeah.
And I can't wait.
Yeah, no, it's they're impressive.
Yeah.
He would also be in the 2010 Predators film, which was produced by Robert Rodriguez. And then he appears in John Wick's 2, 3, and 4. He's obviously done a ton of other things. There's just, I mean, it's Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne is one of the most prolific actors of his generation.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I was just trying to find his cool like genre stuff.
No, yeah, and it is fun to see how many things he's done in so many different, like that we can fill a filmography of like either sci-fi horror or regular horror with him. It's just, the man's been in a lot.
Kristen is brought in and she is like freaking out in the one of the examination rooms. They're trying to sedate her, and of course she does not want to fall asleep.
Yeah.
And she she's like got a scalpel. She fights her way, away from them.
She cuts Max.
Yeah.
And then you have my favorite character introduction of any movie we've gone over so far. And like Sydney and Gail Weathers have had incredible character introductions. Chucky has had good introductions. Like there have been so many great and creative ways to bring these characters that you love back into a film. This is the best one.
Yeah.
It's Kristen in a panic is in the corner of this room and she's doing she's shaking and crying and is like,
she can hardly get it out.
Yeah. And it's 1, 2, and she gets all the way to the end and she's interrupted as Heather Langenkamp as Nancy walks into the room and she is a bit older. She's still got the gray streak from the stress of Nightmare 1. And she's kind of in a suit and you can tell that she's gone on to work in a medical field. And she clearly specializes. What we find later on in the film is she specializes in dreams and the way nightmares are shared and the way they affect the human psyche and the human body. But she can't really explain the fact that the reason she's such a fucking expert on that is because she's lived the supernatural element of all of that she can't then explain exists until now. Yeah. She's in a room of her peers and she finishes that rhyme and Kristen looks at her. And she's like, it's this shared moment. It's unspoken, but it's like, it is oh my God, we're dreaming about the same creep from Nightmare 1. And she moves forward and Kristen like collapses into her arms. And it's such a good scene.
Yeah, it's a magical little moment.
Dr. Gordon is terrified because I think this is the most suicidal person in this ward that he has witnessed do anything like this.
And she like kicks him several times in this scene.
She knocks a table full of medical instruments over. She smashes glass at one point. Yeah, she's gone feral because it's fight or flight and these people are trying to kill her. And to her perspective and on her journey, they are trying to send her back to the demon and it will kill her.
And Nancy steps into that room and is able to, quiet that down.
Do you know why? Do you know what Nancy is? Because they will all eventually become this, but right now Nancy is like a full-blown dream warrior. See, I did it again. You didn't know where I was going.
I truly didn't.
And it's not like a punchline. It's just, it's good.
Nancy Thompson returned as, Heather Langenkamp reprising her role here. She also will go on to play a fictionalized version of herself in Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Things that we didn't mention before when talking about Heather is she was in Mike Flanagan's The Midnight Club, which was a 2022 horror franchise on Netflix. And she also appears in Flanagan's Stephen King adaptation, The Life of Chuck, which just came out this year, 2025.
Yeah, I haven't seen either one of those, but I know The Midnight Club is something that I would obviously love.
Yeah.
It's, what is it, like 80s summer camp teen horror?
So there's R.L. Stein, who wrote things like Goosebumps for like kids, and then he wrote Fear Street for like teenagers.
Yeah.
There's another horror writer, I want to say his name is like Christopher Pike, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And he wrote The Midnight Club, if I'm not mistaken there. And please, by all means, tell me that I'm wrong. Tell me, because I've never read any of these books. So
you want me to tell you that?
No, not you, but the people out there who are listening, hopefully.
I was buckled up. I was ready.
But she's in The Life of Chuck, and that movie is phenomenal.
Yeah. Is she good in it?
Yeah, she has a small part, but it's nice to see her on screen.
My opinion of her from only these 3 Nightmare movies is that she is a good performer for this character and in this franchise. But like, if I am someone watching this, I don't know that, like, if I'm watching this scene, for example, I'm looking at the performances and it's like, man, she's really good at playing Nancy. Yeah. And Patricia Arquette is an amazing performer, like an amazing actor. Like, that's my take on it. So I'm happy to hear that she's good in that movie.
Yeah, it's not a bad take. This leads to Nancy and Dr. Gordon having a conversation. Like you said, she's now a psychiatrist.
They hit it off pretty immediately.
Yeah.
Like, I think those 2 performers have pretty good chemistry. It is that strange thing. Like in Friends, there are those episodes where Monica is dating her dad's friend, which is played by Tom Selleck. And it's like, there's that age disparity, but they have good chemistry. So it's like, it's odd, but it's not too weird. Their age disparity doesn't seem too great in this movie.
Yeah.
But they don't play that as odd.
And there's also not like an explicit, like they are dating.
No.
They do have dinner a couple of times that we see, and there does seem to be some like protective sort of things going on.
They share like
there.
an intimacy with each other.
Yeah. I believe in the original script there was going to be more romance between them, but of that kind of got trimmed.
I'm happy to have romance in movies like this. I think it benefits the film, and I like that it's Nancy again. I think it was well done. I think any more would have been a bit overwatered.
Yeah, it is the correct amount for this film. Dr. Gordon notices that Nancy is taking a prescription of a drug called Hypnosil.
Again, the first mention of something that will then go on to be franchise-wide.
Right. And then after Nancy leaves this scene after their conversation, this is where he sees the nun in white for the first time, which we mentioned before, who then once he kind of like people are crossing back and forth and she seemingly kind of disappears. My big takeaway from this scene, other than like their performance back and forth, the conversation they're having, it sets, a good, whatever, them with each other. The lighting of this scene is so bizarre to me.
Yeah.
Because they're out on like this like veranda on the end of the, hospital or whatever. And it almost seems like it's like behind them, it looks like it's nighttime.
Okay. Yeah.
When they're having the conversation. But then once Nancy leaves and we see the opposite direction looking down this like walkway, this outdoor hallway that has like arches, the sun is now streaming and there's like people all over the place where it just seemed like it was nighttime and no one was around. And so it's like, it almost feels like these are shot like in two different spaces in time and then they got cut together somehow.
I mean, possibly. Another thing, I mean, if you want to theorize, another thing that you could say is if, and spoiler, sorry, this nun that Dr. Gordon is seeing is Freddy Krueger's mother and she is long dead. And it is a vision, an apparition that is appearing to Dr. Gordon. Every time I just Dr. Gordon every time. I just fill this show with impressions.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. No, this is Peter Griffin. You should watch Family Guy, Derek. It's funny.
The Fox show?
Yeah, it's really good if you haven't seen it.
Oh, okay.
We'll have to cover some of those episodes. She appears to him as an apparition. So my theory on that is that maybe it is night, but as he looks down the hallway and watches her leave and sees her out in the distance, maybe that is like what he is having a vision of.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
Possibly. I mean, that's the cool part about this movie is like even something as egregious as like, oh, behind you is nighttime, in front of you is daytime. It's like you could make the argument that there's a creative reason for that. There probably isn't. But.
It's just something I really noticed in these rewatches that I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
We introduce all of our kids next, or a good handful of them, because kind of Max takes Nancy around to meet them. Phil, he explains, is a sleepwalker, and he makes like marionette puppets that are hanging up on the wall in his room.
Very Tommy Jarvis coded. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Kincaid, he gets thrown in the quiet room a lot from what we learn.
Yeah, he seems to be the one that will take zero shit.
Yeah,
from anyone.
He's a big personality.
His fellow group members and whatnot. His performance is great.
Love Kincaid.
Outside of Kristen, Kincaid is my favorite.
Oh yeah, I think he's a fan favorite.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's great. Joey is mute from what we get to see here, and he's kind of sweet on one of the nurses.
Yeah.
Which comes into play later in a dream sequence. To go in a little bit more, Philip Anderson is played by Bradley Gregg. He was in Stand By Me in 86. He's in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And then he also starred in The Fisher King, which is a 91 fantasy comedy, which was produced by Deborah Hill.
What did in The Last Crusade, what did he give Indy? Because the guy who runs the mental ward, like the halfway house in the last one, gave him his hat.
Yeah. I would assume that Bradley Gregg gave him his whip then.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't.
He gave him a black eye.
Yeah.
He was Indy's bully.
Roland Kincaid is played by Ken Sagos. He reprises his role, thankfully, in Nightmare on Elm Street 4. And then he's in the horror film Death by Dialogue in 88, which was made by or distributed by Troma Films.
Oh, okay.
He's also in The Backlot Murders in 02, which was a slasher film. And then, as you like to point out,
Yeah, so I only know him from one thing, and I won't go too far into it, but he is in the episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia where the whole cast goes out to eat, and he is kind of terrorized by Dee Reynolds. And I saw him in that way before I saw this film. And we're watching it, and it is killing me. I'm like, where do I know this kid from? And then I took the controller in my hand, I paused the TV, I stood up, and I was like, hold on. And I switched to Hulu, pulled that episode up, and I was like, look!
yeah, The Gang Dines Out.
The Gang Dines Out
is the episode if you want to go find it, guys. And then Joey Crucial is played by Rodney Eastman. He was an uncredited shoplifter in Chopping Mall.
Huh. Okay.
He also reprises his role in Nightmare 4. And then he was in Deadly Weapon, which was a sci-fi film from 1989. And he is in I Spit on Your Grave, the 2010 remake of the 1978 original.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a weird coincidence. I guess it's not coincidence. I guess if you like Wes Craven, that's cool.
Yeah. Nancy has a meeting with Kristen's mom, who does not take, what Nancy is saying seriously at all. And again, we're just like reiterating how terrible the parents in Springwood are. And they just
the fucking worst.
Don't believe anything that's going on with their kids. Nancy goes upstairs to get Kristen's things, and this is where she finds a model of her old house.
Which, that would be so fucking creepy.
Yeah.
It's like, if this girl built my parents' house where I got stalked by like a dreamin', I'd be like, oh my God, not to be confused with Demon from Friday 5, who eats those goddamn enchiladas.
Right. We don't want to confuse anyone.
Yeah, no, of course not. Freddy Krueger is not an awesome like punk rock black dude with like curls and like a really good relationship with his younger brother.
Yeah.
He's a child murderer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dr. Gordon, he's looking up what Hypnocil is on his computer, which is an experimental drug for managing psychotic disorders. And it produces dreamless sleep. This is where we get our snake dream. So Kristen is
So good.
Yes, it really is. Kristen is like drawing in her room. She's drawing Nancy's house, and a tricycle rolls into the room and then like begins melting.
Which is a really good, because in Freddy's Revenge, there's also melting, like a melting sequence. They play with, and we talk about that in that review, but they play with heat a lot in that movie. But the melting scene in Friday 2 is like bizarre. It doesn't play well visually.
Yeah.
The melting tricycle is so good.
Yeah. It's a really cool
I don't
effect.
know how they could have done that.
Yeah.
It's like seamless. It rolls in and then melts. And it's just like, oh, it's so good.
But I love how like the transitions here work, because Kristen gets up and like backs out through her door. And then whenever, she turns around, she is now in Nancy's house.
Which is funny. Speaking of, that scene reminds me of Severance. If you haven't seen Severance, this is going to make any fucking sense to you. But it's like, as your innie opening the door, and then your outie is out there. What the fuck? Opens the door, goes back inside. But the innie would never have experienced that. And it is so jarring, the opening the door, and then without consciously making the decision to go to a new place, you were just there.
Yeah. That's an interesting comparison.
Yeah. And Patricia Arquette's in both. She is older in Severance, and she is still banging.
And I love her delivery, because it's so similar to how it is here.
Yeah.
Something about the way that she speaks, I find comforting. She finds there's like a roasted pig in the middle of the dining room table, like with a, apple in its mouth. And then it eventually it barks at her almost, and she goes out of there. But that was a real roasted pig that they let spoil. Yuck. And then they cut a hole in the table, and then prop guys had to get underneath and puppet it.
That's disgusting.
From beneath. It was one of the main effects that Chuck Russell, the director, was like, I want to do something like that.
That's cool.
And so
I went and said in our rewatch, that's just amazing.
Yeah. And it's such a simple thing, but it's disgusting.
Yeah.
But
probably a health hazard that they wouldn't do now.
Yeah.
It's like fucking Texas Chainsaw with all the fucking rotting meat. And they're like, well, no, you have to just keep having it on the table. Yeah. And people are like, yeah, that's
Kristen moves into the next room after being scared by the pig on the table. And the carpet that she's on begins kind of like ruffling, like something's underneath. And I love where it like bursts up the walls and like pieces of the drywall and stuff are like breaking away. And then this giant snake with Freddy's head bursts up out of the floor.
And because of the time and because of the production, it's all practical and it looks amazing. And then you and I discussed this where, you know, it's a giant snake creature that is like mildly striped with the Freddy sweater colors. And the head is this giant, like muted, like dark brown, dark green Freddy Krueger head. And it begins to fucking eat her. Yeah. And it's like you can see that her body is going into the prop.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But we talked about the obvious similarity of the Beetlejuice snake, the giant snake version of Beetlejuice to this. I was like, that's a year apart.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's no way that inspiration wasn't pulled from this. I refuse to believe. And I don't think that's like stealing.
No.
But it's like, it's just too similar.
It's very similar. This effect is insane. I believe the like watching her, you know, be eaten, I think was shot in reverse just to be less dangerous for how the mechanism worked.
Yeah. But we discover her power as a dream. She like
calls out for Nancy.
And then Nancy is sitting in her home, presumably, and just kind of like looking through paperwork and looking through like doing what looks to be research. And then falls backwards into a rocking chair and is like enveloped into it and then is in her dream.
I love that effect.
Well, it also looks like a fucking dream. It is like, you know what it looks like? It looks like when you were in Super Mario 64, when you would jump through one of the paintings and the painting would ripple like water. That's what it reminded me of, just falling into a physical object.
Yeah. Nancy falls into her old house where she like breaks a mirror, and so she takes part of that mirror and she like stabs Freddy in the eye, I believe, and like saves Kristen from him.
Freddy looks at her, the giant snake Freddy, and it's just you.
The realization.
And it sounds so sinister. And it's just like, oh, he hates this. He hates this chick so fucking much.
It's and like the realization on her face of like, oh my God, it is you.
Yeah.
And it's like even with what she had heard about what was happening with these kids, and maybe if we're taking two into account, maybe what she's heard about what happened a year ago.
It's like, maybe, just maybe, this is a coincidence. And you, as a human, we hold on to that shit. We hold on to the hope that what we think is the worst case scenario isn't happening. And it always sucks when you find out that it is. But I can't imagine how sucky it must be when you find out that the worst case scenario is a dream demon. It's fucking a giant snake now, and it almost ate this young girl. And then it looks at you and it destroys your confidence. He was like, you and your big eyebrows. And she's like, oh God, no, they're big. Eugene Levy's like, yeah, they're really big.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something for him to say. They escape the dream, thankfully, and we're in our group session 1.
Yeah.
Where we kind of get introduced to the rest of the kids.
Yeah, all at once, sitting around in these metal chairs. It's a good set, man. And you know, I complained in Nightmare 2 that they had like 3 set pieces.
Yeah.
And it was like home and school and dream and homeschool dream. And they would just do that in a cycle. This is the same fucking thing. Yeah. It is like individual rooms or group therapy or like Nancy and Dr. Gordon go to a different place.
Yeah.
But it's like mostly it's like group therapy, dream session. You talked to me about this just like right before we recorded. This doesn't bother me at all.
No.
Because they're all fleshed out.
Yes.
And they all have a payoff. Everywhere you go is important. Even like the fucking dive bar, which we'll get to because that's my favorite cast reveal. But you have all these amazing things that play into where you are geographically. And so it doesn't make me fucking frustrated.
Yeah, no, I agree. Nancy like talks to Kristen here about how she had pulled her into the dream, and it's revealed that Kristen used to be able to do this when she was like 4 or 5. She would, if she had a bad dream, she would call her dad into it, and he would like, you know, make the bad guy go away.
Wes Craven is so brilliant, assuming that these plot devices are his, because they seem so much like something he would create. I love the explanation of well, why did you stop doing it? She was like, well, I would pull my dad in, and the next day my dad would describe the dreams that he would have with me. But I knew that if I told him, he wouldn't believe me. So I just let him think that they were his. And it's like, what a child thing to do. And it also perfectly sets out the fact that like, oh yeah, I could do that, because she was never taking credit for it. So it probably slipped her mind.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I love so much what they expand on with Nightmare's rules in this. And those rules that they expand on here are now the staple moving forward. Like, unless it's Freddy's dead, then that goes all over the fucking place. Yeah. But for the next few, it's like, these are the rules and they're good. Yeah. They lead to good kills, good cinematics. I really like the next few in this franchise.
Same. The rest of the kids here, Will has had an accident, so he is in a wheelchair. Jennifer wants to be an actress, who we had in our clip there. And then Taryn is a recovering addict.
Yes. She's great.
She is.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, like, most of them are great. Jennifer they don't give her a lot to do. But yeah, Taryn is great. The first time we see Taryn, I believe, in the hallway earlier, she is wearing a Dawkins shirt, if I'm not mistaken.
That's awesome. I'm going to see. Oh, hold on. Let's see if I can find one while you're talking, and I'll buy one for everybody who votes for us for Best of the Bay.
Will Stanton is played by Ira Hayden. He was in Elvira, Mistress of the Dark in 88. He was in a sci-fi film, Time Lock in 96. And then he is in Ghostbusters Afterlife in 2021. You'll never guess in a million years that he was the voice of the mini Stay Puft marshmallows.
You're right. I would have never guessed that. To make me try to guess that would be rude.
Yeah. Jennifer Caulfield is played by Penelope Sudrow. She was in an action sci-fi film in 88 called Dead Man Walking. She's in After Midnight, a horror anthology, which also starred Judy Aronson. Or Aronson is probably how you pronounce that. And I've been pronouncing it wrong this whole time.
Hey, I forget them. You mispronounce them.
But
that's a t-shirt right there. That's a t-shirt design.
Yeah. But she played Samantha in Friday the 13th, part 4, the final chapter, which is why I brought her up. And then Penelope Sudrow was also in Honor Thy Mother, which was a 92 TV thriller. What's interesting about Penelope here is that she plays Jennifer, who wants to make her break in TV. Like, that's her big thing, is she wants to be on TV. And honestly, most of this actress's credits are on TV afterwards.
She did it.
She did it.
She followed her dream.
Which in this movie gets you killed. Taryn White is played by Jennifer Rubin, who was also in Bad Dreams, which is a supernatural slasher movie similar in theme, I think, to this in 88.
Sounds like it.
And she was in The Crush, which was a 93 psychological thriller, and she's in a sci-fi horror film in 95 called Screamers. But they are all having dreams about the same guy.
Yeah.
And there's another doctor here, Dr. Sims.
She fucking sucks.
She sucks.
She sucks. She doesn't suck even because, like, it's like Charlie Brown adults. It's not that. She sucks because, like, as a professional, oh my God, she's so horrible to these kids.
Yeah.
She's like, they are screaming at her, and she's like, I do not give a fuck. Shut your fucking mouths. Do what I fucking tell you. And it's like, oh, nowhere in the professional world of psychiatry would you ever speak to these people. Also, she's like, I am your like medical doctor and your counselor. And it's like, so you're a therapist and you're screaming basically like, shut the fuck up about the guy. I don't care about that. It's just group psychosis.
Yeah.
And at one point somebody's like, has that ever even happened? And she's like, well, yeah, theoretically. And it's like, I know that she has and this is where playing devil's advocate for a fictional character, it's like, she has no reason to believe that what's happening as they describe is real.
Right.
But like, if they're all saying it at the same time, like, I don't know, give them some credit. I like the scene though, where you kind of go back to the group therapy session and she is involved, but she kind of is like out of the scene for a while. And Nancy talks to them all and it's like, they finally get heard.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit, someone believes us. And Dr. Gordon sees that and sees the relief. And I think that's what sets him on the path to believing them as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Because before we get to there, Nancy's basically tried to explain to Gordon of like, hey, you should put these kids on Hypnosil for the time being to try and save them.
Which rightfully, as a medical doctor, he's like, that's experimental. It's expensive. I'm not doing that.
But it eventually kind of it gets us on the path to what you were talking about.
And I think that's good. A lot of Nancy's performance, Heather Langenkamp's performance as Nancy, is so good because it's like she is able to believably convince this medical professional that Hypnosil is necessary. If you want these kids to fucking survive, you have to buy that shit. You have to do it. And it's like she's just so human, and I think that is expressed all throughout the movie.
Our next kind of dream sequence here, Will, Taryn, and Joey are playing D&D.
Which we also don't do.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, in our narrative, do we play D&D?
It's not a narrative, man. Come on, don't give that fucking shit away.
Oh, okay.
We don't play D&D.
No. But whenever they basically, Larry Fishburne comes in and tells them they have to go to bed. And Max is his character's name. And so Will and Joey are then going to take shifts to watch each other sleep so that they can get some sleep. And then we go to Phil and Kincaid's room where they are both asleep. And we get the puppet, one of Phil's puppets hanging on the wall, which turns into a little mini Freddy.
He's so cute. It's weird tonally, but it's so cute.
Yeah.
I want one of those.
What's interesting is the way that they did that is like the clay puppet, his face turns into Freddy, but the special effects artist, Doug Beswick, who had done stop motion effects on Empire Strikes Back, Evil Dead 2, Beetlejuice, and Gremlins 2. All that was done.
Every single one of those is a goddamn banger.
Yeah. He did this obviously with stop motion animation, but they began with the puppet looking like Freddy, and then each frame they would make it a little more plain and a little more plain, and then they played that in reverse.
Very
so that
cool.
It goes from being the plain kind of just blank stare of the face to being Freddy.
I'm gonna go through these kills effectively because I don't want to spend too much time on them because we'll spend this episode will be 5 hours.
Yeah.
So he is then he begins to experience severe discomfort in his limbs because the marionette has kind of begun to affect him in this dream. And then from his wrists and the tops of his legs and his feet, his veins. This is what I take from it.
Yeah. Please go.
Like his veins coagulate into cables, like cords, strings, and split out of his flesh and become marionette strings. And Freddy puppets him through the building up to a tower where his friends see him up in the tower. But the entire time it keeps cutting back and forth between he's on these strings and he's like writhing and screaming because I can't imagine the fucking pain his mind must be projecting onto him as his veins tear out of his flesh. And then it cuts to the real world and he's just sleepwalking like a puppet. He's just sleepwalking. And then you have this amazing shot where all the kids have come out of their rooms and they're all in the room where I think it's the D&D kids. Because one of the D&D kids sees it and it's the mute one runs up to the nurse and is like, he grabs her shit and knocks it off the desk and he's like waving for her to come in. She never does. She never goes into the room because the staff in this fucking mental ward are awful people. They're all screaming, Phil, no. And he's up in this tower and they're like, first of all, why that kid would be able to get access to a fucking clock tower.
Well, especially because what we learn that tower is later.
Yes.
But
he's up there and he's dangling and he's screaming. And then you have my favorite shot of the whole fucking movie. It is haunting and it's silly, but oh my God. You cut to the night sky above him and like with a bit of opacity in the stars, Freddy is like millions of feet tall, just towering above the horizon, holding his veins as strings, laughing like a fucking maniac. And he pulls one of the claws out and just cuts the strings. Phil wakes up and falls forward and is screaming the whole way down. And then he hits the ground. And it's like, good God, that is so fun. Because these are supposed to be kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, God, Wes Craven is so fucking good. And the effects team on that is just the digital effect of adding Freddy to the background, but then seeing the actual cord prop get cut by the swipe. It all works so well. That is one of the best kills in this series. It is one of the best kills in horror, I think, in general.
This is one of those effects, the veins, like from watching it for the first time, it's like, it is where it has disgusted me the most.
Oh yeah. It's cheek tingles, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this a 5 on the scale of cheek tingles, and it only goes to 5.
That's good. We need a scale.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still just as effective now.
For sure.
This is where we move to our group session 2. Dr. Elizabeth Sims is played by Priscilla Pointer. She was in Brian De Palma's Carrie. She is in the Twilight Zone movie. She's in the segment directed by Steven Spielberg called Kick the Can. And then she also was in the David Lynch film Blue Velvet and the zombie comedy Chud 2, Bud the Chud.
There is a good chance you made that up.
No, that's a real thing. But in this group session, the doctors they think that Phil killed himself, obviously. And the kids just continue to reiterate that, no, it's this man in their dreams.
The thing is that the adults have zero reason to not think that the police ruled it as a suicide. He is shown walking up to the tower and flying off. Like, why would they ever believe otherwise? And it's so frustrating because it's like, you guys are right to think that, but you're fucking assholes. And that's what the kids are saying. And it's like, you are one of them watching this. Yeah. And it's just awful.
Well, and Freddy is smart to do the things that he does to keep all of the adults believing.
Because that's where he fucks up in the first one. It's like when Glenn sinks into his bed and becomes a blood fountain. That's hard for the police to believe. Like, Nancy's dad is like, good God, I've never seen anything like that. How the fuck did that happen? And the other ones are like, I don't know. I guess it's a suicide. And he's like, well, no, it can't be. How do you meef yourself? For those of you who haven't heard, meef is meat beef. Go back a few hundred episodes that we have, and how many episodes do we have?
This will be like 37, 38, something
Hell
like that.
yeah, brother. Congrats.
But Kincaid shows, he freaks out here and he gets thrown in the quiet room like they do to him. But like, I think it's that of like how seriously he's taking this is what finally kind of gets Dr. Gordon to agree to give the kids Hypnocil.
It's not only that, but also the quiet room is really fucked. It's how I don't believe in solitary confinement with my fucking lib snowflake ass. I don't think solitary confinement is humane. I think that's fucking terrible. So to see a movie that is so drenched in like sort of self-harm adjacent material, and then it's like you're expressing your fears about being made by a demon to hurt yourself. I'm putting you in solitary. It's like, God, that doctor is so easy to fucking hate.
Yes.
Because that's horrible. In any context, it's horrible to do that to anybody, much less a child.
Yeah, and this is one of those that like you see because like a lot of times in these movies we see characters that like we don't like, and so we don't feel too bad whenever they end up dying.
Like how we spent literally 15 minutes in last week's episode laughing about Joey getting fucking hacked to pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like this doctor who is like the worst person ever,
right?
She doesn't get her comeuppance anywhere in this. So, we don't get that moment. Instead, we just have to watch all of these kids be killed one after another.
You know what happens? She's like, you know what? Fuck Springfield. Fuck this place. I'm fucking leaving. And she leaves. And she goes out to like, I don't know, some small podunk town in like the East Coast of Jersey, where she is murdered to death by a Jason Voorhees.
Oh, okay.
Now that's not real, but doesn't that feel good for a second, guys?
That's headcanon for me.
If you've seen this movie and you think about her getting fucking like, she's the one in the fucking sleeping bag that Jason just smashes against the fucking tree. Picture that. You'll feel great.
Yeah. We move to our TV dream with Jennifer.
Yeah, which is what our clip is. And so you've heard the clip, so I'll explain it. She is very tired, trying not to fall asleep. And this is one of those great Lawrence Fishburne moments where Max is in the room and he cares about these kids. Yeah. And she's obsessed with television. And she's sitting there and she's watching the show with the guy from the credits. I've already forgotten. And she's sitting there and she's watching. And Max is like, you got to go. You got to go get in your room. It's time for bed. And she's like, Max, please. I'm scared. I don't want to do this. Just please let me watch my TV. And he's like, all right, but if you fall asleep in here, I'm picking you up and I'm carrying you into your room. And he leaves. and she's allowed to watch TV. And this is where our clip happens to kind of a lot of our clip this time. We wanted to stick with the homage. It was your idea, which I really appreciate. We want to stick to the homage of our obsession with televisions, old TVs. Because she walks up at one point, you hear those clicks. She's looking for the third channel, baby. She wants to listen to two guys talk for a long time. But she is all of a sudden the TV begins to kind of crackle and fizzle, and you hear the sort of very distorted Freddy rhyme. And so we know, oh fuck, she fell asleep.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. And then you have my favorite effect of the movie. The previous kill is my favorite kill of this movie. The effect is great, but this effect is phenomenal. The kill is not as cool or as inventive, but the effect is fucking great. What you're hearing is as she gets close to the TV, out from the TV bursts like transformer mechanical arms. That grab her by the shoulders and lift her up to where her face is equal to the TV. And then Freddy's head grows from the top of it like it's hatching. Like there's a membrane that bursts and he grows out of the top of the TV. And he's got the
little antenna,
his fucking head. For those of you who are super fans of this series, NECA released an action figure from this movie. And one of the figure things that it comes with, one of the props that it comes with, is the TV with his arms and his head. But his head and his arms are like, you can move them around. They're articulated. But he grabs her. And this is where we get that first, welcome to prime time, bitch. And he slams her head first into the glass of the TV where she is subsequently electrocuted. Max, hearing that, bursts back into the room and he looks and it's like she's like charred black. But again, how the fuck did she get in there?
Yeah. It's a little bit more ridiculous.
She gets up from the couch, runs full speed, leaps into the air and headbutts the TV like a professional football player. I mean the British football, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We go to her funeral, and this is where Gordon actually speaks to the nun who he's been like having visions of.
She's loitering in the back,
pretty much. And she says for the first time, you know, that the unquieted spirit has to be laid to rest in order for them to be at peace.
Which makes sense. They don't really touch why he's there in the first movie. So for it to be like, well, no, yeah, this is how this works. This is why he's able to do this. And to add that layer I think that's interesting.
Yeah. And this is where we get, because she asks him like what kind of, where do you lay your faith, doctor? And he's like, well, in science. And so again, we're threading along this idea of science versus faith, and like him coming to terms with actually believing in kind of this magic that's happening. And where we go to our group session 3, which you mentioned before, is the one where the other doctor is not there.
Yeah.
And so Nancy comes and explains to the kids who Freddy Krueger is.
She says Fred, which I find weird. She says Fred Krueger.
I mean, that's what they called him, like in the first 2 movies. Anytime they're discussing him, like from the papers.
Yeah, fair enough.
But she explains, who he is, and that 6 years ago that he had killed all of Nancy's friends, which then places this a year after the events of part 2.
Understood. Okay.
And that they are basically, the reason that Freddy came after Nancy and her friends is because of what their parents did, and that these kids are the last Elm Street kids.
Yeah.
Which is why he's terrorizing them.
And I like the very quick, brief logic touch of like, well, why didn't they say anything? And it's like, well, would your parents say anything to you? And it's like, yeah, okay, fair point. And I love how he's able to do that as a writer. I love that Wes is able so quickly to go, well, the audience is going to ask this question, but this is a really reasonable answer. So I'll just put it into a brief moment of dialogue. And then that question is no longer relevant. It's nice.
Kristen is the key to all this. Because she can, bring people into her dreams.
So she can effectively force a group psychosis, like a group dream. She can force that to happen to protect each other.
And so Dr. Gordon puts them through a group hypnosis session.
He sets a glowing metronome on a table, and then they all immediately pass the fuck out. It just shows how tired they must all be.
Yeah.
But actually,
tired.
I didn't. That's the joke of the show. That's really fucking good. Oh man, that was fast too. So you don't have to pronounce names good. You make jokes.
No.
What I will say is that I hadn't thought about that originally. I just thought it was kind of silly, but they are sleep deprived as fuck. So the second that they are like, guys, go ahead and go to sleep. Yeah, it makes sense that they all, if that moment of feeling safe with the hypnosil in the group, yeah, they probably pass the fuck out.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to count down from 5, and they fall asleep.
He does too, by the way.
Yeah.
So he's just like, I'm going to count down for, oh, fuck. He passes out.
And
he hits his head on the desk.
I like how this is shot because I think it's like once he gets to, because he's counting down, I think from 10, and we kind of cut around to each of their reactions of them kind of like their eyes drooping, things like that. And then we do this slow push in on the like metronome as he's counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we come back and like everybody has fallen asleep, and then they open their eyes and they're like, okay, well, I mean, we can try in a bit. That must not have worked.
And I will say that I don't know if this worked for you, but the reveal that they are asleep worked for me. I didn't know that they were. I thought maybe that the eyes closing was like they're taking it seriously, they're trying, and then it doesn't work. But it's those, and it's not a very good effect. You know what this effect reminds me of? And it's going to break your heart, but it reminds me of Muppet Vision.
Okay.
The weird little fucking rubber duck boat thing that flies around and pretends to be Mickey at one point. God, that thing was weird.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's that kind of 3D effect. It's a little dated, but it's the balls from the little clacker on his desk come away from the strings and they float around the room. And Nancy's like, we did it. We are in the dream. And it's like, this is the first time that anyone, I think, in the series has been happy to be there.
Yeah.
It's like a good acknowledgement. And it's like, I love the celebration of like, yeah, we fucking did it. Good job. And Kristen gets a good job here. It's like, you did it. You got us all together. And she's happy. Everyone's happy. Kincaid is like his eyes are twitching and he's looking around and he's like, I was in solitary for 18 days and he punches a hole through a wall. That doesn't happen, but it could have.
No, because this is where they find like what their powers are. Because like
I love them.
Yeah. Will, steps up from his wheelchair and he can walk again.
Later on, you discover because of his love of D&D, he's also a fucking wizard.
Yeah.
It's just great.
Kristen like clears the floor and like does a somersault.
Yeah. Taryn is the fucking most dated.
Yeah.
She's like, in my dream, I'm a badass. And then she like leaves the frame for a second and she comes back up and she has this giant mohawk and she's like in like a leather biker outfit. And it's not like she is like, she can control fire or anything. Her dream power is switchblades.
Yeah.
She has 2 switchblades and she flips them around and she's like, I'll fucking stab Freddy in his face.
And then Kincaid can he's very strong. So he he bends this chair.
I like the way they do that too, because you could have the thing of like him struggling to bend the chair, but he doesn't. It's like, okay, so you're mildly more strong than like the strongest man, but it's like, he does it like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shit, that's cool. And it is like a horror movie Avengers. And I know that sounds campy. And it is. I know it's corny, it's campy, it's a little schlocky, and oh my God, it feels so good.
It works. It works for me.
Because it's in the middle, it's this bright spot in the middle of what has been just abject horror. And it's like, it's so cool to watch. And all of these performers are great. Every single one of them is great. Oh, and also another one of the kids is in the dream. And he is right before everybody realizes that they've woken up. He wakes up first.
Yeah.
And it's the mute guy. And
Joey,
Yeah. And he is led through the halls by a nurse. And I'll go over what happens and then their reaction. He is led into like an off room. And this nurse, who is substantially older than him, is like, I've always really liked you. I have a big crush on you. And he's like a sex pervert because he's a teenage boy. And he's like, well, he's mute, but he would be saying like, fuck yeah. And so she lays him into a bed. She immediately gets naked. She gets on top of him. And then it's like the weirdest shit. She like spits like a gun. She spits tongues, which is a very Freddy motif.
Yes.
I think you've posted pictures of my tattoo of Freddy's glove with the mouth sticking out of it. And it was the same thing in Nightmare 1 with the phone. his tongue is like a motif. In Freddy's Revenge, his tongue sticks out at Lisa, which is really inappropriate, all things considered. But this nurse who is obviously Freddy in disguise or being puppeted like is a creation of Freddy's, spits tongues out, and they bind his arms and feet to a bed frame, and then the mattress
like falls away underneath him,
which is another theme that he sucks you into a bed, and under the bed is basically hell. We haven't seen it before, but now we see it, and it's a good visual.
Yeah,
it's a good effect. The mattress falls and tumbles down into basically a lake of brimstone and fire, and he is being suspended like a prison rack.
Yeah, I believe that scene was shot like he was at a 90-degree angle up. And so that way he's not literally hanging.
Yeah, because that would be dangerous. Yeah. Even if he just fell to the floor, that would be dangerous. He could break like a bone or something. But the most interesting part about this scene is that when the nurse, because she's like naked, but she's been wearing a mask, like a face mask the whole time, and she takes it off, and it's the Joker.
Yeah. And Harvey Dent is like, what?
Yeah. Dead fuck.
Oh, God. None of that's going to work. That's fine.
That's fine.
You'll get it if you get it.
Oh, no, I'm keeping all that.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
And then back in the group room, everything begins
to like
it's super hot.
It super heats.
And then the walls start like closing in, which is like an interesting effect as well. Like, because it was just a set that they must have built that then people on the outside are like shifting the walls around.
This happens because they have realized that Joey is missing.
Yes.
Nancy is like, he's near. He's like, he's got to be down the hall because she can like sense that.
Yeah, I can't remember if that's it or if like Kristen.
It's one of the two.
Maybe they try and get Kristen to pull him back to them.
Maybe.
But either way, they are struggling to get out of this room.
There are those, it seems like it's Nancy and Kristen that have this sort of better connection to him. Nancy probably because of history and Kristen because of what ends up being her power, but they are aware now that this is where they were celebratory. It's like, oh shit, we all just willingly walked into hell. And it's that splash of cold water every good horror movie has. And it's like, it's the family at the end of Krampus. It's like, oh shit.
Yes.
Yeah. And man, I can't wait to talk about Krampus.
When the door finally opens, it's Dr. Sims is revealed there, and she finds everyone like asleep. Joey is like on the floor, and they wake everyone up. He won't wake up, and they take him to like the medical center.
He's in a coma that they believe is a byproduct of hypnosil. So the medical director of this, institute is immediately like, I am immediately suspending hypnosil from any of these kids. And then also, Dr. Gordon, you are fucking out.
Yeah. That was like part of an agreement that, he and Sims had a fight over. And he was like, let's try the hypnosil thing. And if it doesn't work, then I will walk.
Yeah. And them pushing him out here. And Nancy is also like, you were not allowed back in this building. Get fucked. You didn't even work here to begin with. And so, yeah, this is your shakeup. The kids are now alone. The kids are now completely and utterly vulnerable. And as this is happening, once again, it's sort of like right place, right time. He looks up in that tower where the
Phil had jumped from.
Has jumped. He he's visited by this nun, what he believes is a nun. So he climbs to the tower, and this is where we get the most metal sounding thing ever. And it's really fucked and terrible. Yeah. But she used to work in this place when it wasn't a rehabilitation clinic and a mental hospital. Yeah. She worked here when it was a fucking dirty asylum. Yeah. Like a 40s, 50s asylum where it was like they were treated like animals and they were horrible. And she got trapped.
Well, we don't know that at the time. She says a girl on staff was locked in during the holidays.
Okay, sorry, spoilers. Yeah. I already said.
Yeah, you said that. I'm just saying the way that she tells it.
But she tells this story about this girl being trapped in this room with 100 of these asylum patients.
Basically, like this wing was the worst of the criminally insane.
And they all okay, huge trigger warning here because I'm just going to say the word. Yeah. They all of them raped her almost to death. And so that's not cool. It's just the writing that this evil, demonic child murderer, dream stalking, like just maniac is she calls him the bastard son of 100 maniacs. And it's like, that is so dark.
Yes.
And so metal sounding.
Right, right. It's also this piece of lore that we get like more and more of through the next several films.
Yeah.
Which I also find interesting in the sequels is finding out a little bit more of like Freddy's past and things like that.
Fucking Freddy versus Jason when you see his house. Yeah. It's like, I got a house. Look at me. And he's got like a apron, like a grill apron on, and it says "Kiss the Cook," and then in like hit the Freddy font, bitch. And it's like, oh shit, he knew the whole time. He was just waiting.
But this is where she again reiterates that basically that they need to find Freddy's remains and they have to bury him in hallowed ground.
Yeah. Nancy, only knowing a handful of people that would know where that is, has the decision that she has to go. And it's been hinted at so far that she and her father, Lieutenant Thompson, who they had like he witnessed his fucking wife turn into a spooky skeleton and drift down a bed into hell. So he's probably a little fucked up. But they go to a dive bar to meet him there. And in the dive bar, he's like, he looks up and he's like, oh, hey, good to see you. And we get motherfucking John Saxon.
I like this little cameo here because it's not a big part, but I'm glad he came back. Again, it's like seeing Heather again.
And we love John Saxon on this show. We stan a John Saxon on this show. Several things happen, but there are only two things of note. He pisses Nancy the fuck off. And Nancy's like, I'm fucking leaving. I don't care about this guy.
Well, it's that he just continues to reiterate of like, Fred Krueger is dead. Like, just, you got to get over what happened. And it's like, I mean, it is the defining moment of her life.
He's also in like a security guard uniform, probably off the force now.
Yeah.
He's also drunk, which is a big thing to say because later on he drives. But
Gordon is then like paged by the hospital and they go over to a payphone and they call and he talks to Taryn, I believe. And basically Kristen's been freaking out. She's been now put into the quiet room. Which
was kind of the threat that they were delivering when Nancy first met her.
Right.
And now that's come to fruition. And Gordon's like, just go, because he's not going to listen to you. He's made that clear. Maybe he'll listen to me. You go. And she's basically like, he is not going to fucking listen to you. And then Dr. Gordon's like, he's going to fucking listen to me. And then Dr. Gordon picks fucking John Saxon up by the lapels and is like, get finger in his face. Like, if you don't fucking tell me where these bones are right now, I'm going to beat the fucking shit out of you. And that's not exactly what he says, but he might as well.
He roughs him up for sure.
And let me tell you, it works.
Yeah.
John Saxon's like, all right, let's go get in my truck. I'm driving and I'm drunk. It's crazy how many times people drive drunk in these movies.
Yeah.
Especially in the 80s.
They stop by like a church and Gordon goes in and like fills, because he takes Thompson's flask and he like pours it out and he goes inside the church and he fills it with holy water.
He pours it out into his mouth.
Yeah.
So that in case he needs to drive, he would also be driving drunk. He fills it with the holy water, and then the funniest fucking thing ever is he takes the cross, like a silver cross, off the wall, and this priest is like, "Hey man, you can't do that." He's like, "It's fine. Here," and he's like, "Take my ID. I'll come back for it. I'm good for it." And then he just leaves.
Yep.
So now he's driving drunk without an ID.
Oh man, that's true.
Yeah.
But they end up going to a junkyard, and They go in and Thompson is just like Nancy's dad is basically like, I don't even know if I'll be able to find it anymore.
Yeah.
But they go way deep into this junkyard and they find the red Cadillac from the first film. And Freddy's remains are in the trunk for whatever reason.
And then Derek basically shits his goddamn pants because, and we'll cut back to this moment in a minute because we're kind of going a little out of order just to go character by character. But John Saxon delivers this excellent monologue about the horror that all of this has caused him and his family and what these parents all had to do. And Gordon is like, yeah, that sucks, but you are fucking up. So like, let's get this done. And as they're out there with his remains, getting ready to fucking consecrate them and end the horror, Derek is thrown into horrible trauma as his bones chatter to life and begin to attack them. And it immediately goes after John Saxon. John Saxon's like, fuck, not again. How will they get out of this? Find out in a few minutes when we get back over here.
Nancy makes it back to the hospital,
yes.
and she does get into Max, like basically won't let her in to see Kristen, but he allows her to go say goodbye to the rest of them.
Which feels a bit like a ruse. Like that's obviously not her intention.
Right.
But I kind of think Max knows that.
I
just think that he needed a reason to justify yes to the hospital. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she takes Will, Kincaid, and Taryn back to the group session room, and they do another group hypnosis to try and fall into a dream together to go save Kristen.
Yeah.
And I like this because like as soon as they fall asleep and they wake back up in the same room and they're like, okay, well, how are we going to find her? And then like Freddy's glove starts like slashing through like the padded walls and it's just like, okay, we flash back to Kristen at the beginning.
Yeah.
The opening credits where she's building the paper mache house. And for a moment, it's like the events kind of repeat themselves. And she, hugs her mom because she hasn't seen her mom now in days because she's been in this hospital. And it's that thing of like, okay, well, have things reset or what's happened? And she gets back into bed. And then
her mom's basically like, you fuck up everything, you piece of shit. You fuck up my date and whatnot. And then it's revealed that she is a decapitated head. And then in the coolest motherfucking drip I've ever seen, Freddy walks in holding her mother's head, wearing a tuxedo with a red bow tie with his bald ass, burnt ass head. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great look for Freddy.
Yeah. But he starts to try to attack her in this moment because that's Freddy in a nutshell. It's like he does a silly thing. He does a little silly thing. And then he immediately starts trying to kill everyone in the room.
And Kristen like runs up the wall and like flips away. And then, Dream Logic ends up at Nancy's house again.
Yeah.
Then we jump to Taryn's dream because there's a white flash and Taryn is now in a dirty alley.
Again, we talked about this a little earlier. The trigger warning here is drug overdose. It's also fucking disgusting.
Yeah. It's the veins and then this.
So she's like stabbing at Freddy. She gets him in like what looks to be like the groin. She's like stabbing him with these switchblades and like slashing at him. And he's like on the defense for a second.
Yeah.
And then his fingers aren't knives anymore. They are syringes. And I love the dream ethereal nature of the fact that it's like, yeah, it's supposed to be like heroin or some really crazy drug, but it's like neon green.
Yeah.
And you know what it reminds? Oh my God, I'm putting this together now. In Nightmare 1, he cuts his fingers off and a bunch of green liquid comes out. And so when his fingers have a liquid again, it is that same color green. I think that might just be a motif of his.
Maybe.
It's like Venom, the Marvel character's tongue, always like in early Todd McFarlane art, it was always shown that it's like green slime would drip off of it. It is so disgusting. Her arm develops. There's no really good way to say this. It's like little puckery mouths.
Yeah.
But they're not like lips. It's like holes. And you suffer terribly from tryptophobia.
Yeah, I do.
Which is, for those of you who don't know, it's a fear of many holes together in an object. So think of things like a really close up of like a sponge or something like that with a lot of holes together where things might hide or there might be living creatures or organisms in there. Derek fucking hates that. So this is a rough part for you.
Yeah.
Because her arm is just covered in these holes. It's like 5 of them in a row and they're all puckering and Freddy jabs the syringes into each of them and the liquid goes in and it lights her veins up and she begins to overdose. And it's not played for like goof. It is like she looks like she is overdosing. And then you get my favorite line of the movie. Freddy leans his head back and he goes, "What a rush." And it's just like, what an evil piece of shit. Like, because his rush here is, "I've killed another teenager."
Yeah.
And that's so fucked, man. It's so good writing, and for horror, what horror is, to enjoy something that is so taboo and black, but it's like, it's really good.
Yeah. This is that effect really sticks with me through everything else that I've
Every
seen.
effect in this movie so far has been a banger, and the next one we're going to talk about, I don't give a shit about it. It does not impress me at all.
Yeah, another white flash, and we're now in Will's dream. He is in a dirty hallway, and then there is like the medieval torture device version of a wheelchair.
Which is fucked.
Yeah.
That's super rude. And it comes like charging down the hallway at him, and it's like on fire. Like, it's like fire. The wheels are like sparking, and it's moving at him, and it's got like these whirring blades. And it does. It looks like like the inside of an Iron Maiden, but secured into a wheelchair. And he's able to dodge it. And then it's like,
Freddy is at the other end of the hallway.
Yeah.
And he gives, I mean, the one-liners that he throws at this kid are despicable.
yeah, truly ableist.
But Will then, like you mentioned earlier, turns into a wizard.
It is literally like a Monty Python bit. It's like it like closes in on his face and it pulls back out, and he's got like the wizard hat and like robes, and he's like, "In my dream, I'm a wizard," and he shoots lightning bolts at Freddy, and they look bad. Like, Empire Strikes Back lightning bolts are infinitely better than this. Now, granted, the budget on that movie even before was way bigger. Yeah. So I'm willing to accept that, but I think that this is a weird thing. I do like that it's a payoff, though.
Yes. I like that, something from his, he's a D&D,
Aficionado.
Yeah. And so, he gets to, in his dreams, he gets to walk, because he doesn't get to do that in real life anymore. And then he gets to be a wizard.
Very Stranger Things coded.
Yes.
Very Stranger Things, wherein, all of these kids, their entire life, especially the first season, but it's like they finally meet a real wizard, and then their adventures are actually from D&D. And it's like, in this dream, you get that cascading score and the hope, and then it doesn't work out.
Yeah, Freddy just kind of grabs him and stabs him in the chest.
I like that one too, because it's like the effects are more based on the survivor, but I do just love the idea that Freddy's like, "Man, I did this creative thing. I was going to kill you with your fucking wheelchair. And then like, you do all this shit. You strike me with you tase me? Did you tase me, bro?" And he stabs him in the guts. He's like, "Fuck you. You're just going to rot in this long, weird hallway forever." Maybe right when the camera cuts away, Freddy's like, "You know what? Fuck this." And he puts him on the wheelchair. Yeah. Like grinds him up into beef, which is again, meat beef. Anyway, please continue, Darren.
And then we're kind of moving into our finale here.
Yes.
So Nancy has found Kristen, and then Kincaid conveniently breaks through a wall and joins them. And
their reunion is so cute.
Yeah. Kincaid just has that personality, man. He's the best.
To quote him from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, he bursts through the wall and says, "There is some shit going down." I'm so excited to have worked that into this episode.
They kind of taunt Freddy, and then a giant like boiler room door appears in the middle of the room, and it opens to a spiral staircase that goes down into a giant boiler room that is on fire.
I like the use of the door in the middle, like the Monsters Inc. sort of door that should have no back. Because my God, talk about like ethereal dream logic. It's like they use it in so much media, but it's like, this is probably the earliest example I've ever seen of that. Well, no, I guess Twilight Zone, but I love this. I think this is so good.
Yeah. It's a simple thing of just like, we need to get them from point A to point B, and
like,
how do we get there quickly? And then it's dream logic.
And this is an early example of like, they have to do this somewhat digitally. They have to, because you can't edit this film reel by film reel. It's like they had to just add it in, but it looks great for the time. It looks amazing.
Yeah. So they head down there. Joey is still being suspended over this pit. And
Nancy says this line that I just expect for it to be. The first time I watched this movie, it was very like Star Wars out of nowhere.
Okay.
And it was just strange to me. She says he's never been this powerful before.
Yeah.
Or like something to that effect. Like, this is the most powerful he's ever been. And then Freddy addresses that, and it's horrible. He pulls his sweater away, like he tears it and pulls it off of his chest. And like his whole torso is made of this distorted, burnt flesh and faces, recognizable faces. Because every time he kills you in his dream, it's revealed that he takes your fucking soul and you become a part of him and you make him stronger.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's lore that you get at the very end of this, but it does explain why now it's like every kill that he's done has, like, he's been able to spend more time with every single one of them. And it's good. It's good storytelling. And that effect is great because you could have just done like his stomach and the burns with the faces in them, but the faces are moving.
Yeah, they're moving. They're moving. The like body itself is like writhing.
It's so good. And it's gross as fuck.
Yeah.
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 By the way, something that I think we've totally skipped over here, but I think it's worth mentioning now at the end when you have an effect like that. This is Freddy Krueger. The makeup that they have for him here will always be definitive for this character for me.
Yeah.
The burns are very red but the skin is very pale and like dead looking. His eyes, like the effect that they have of his eyes is not, because the last one was way too much makeup in Freddy's Revenge.
Right.
Like dark, bruisey makeup. This is just, man, and the costume is a little brighter and it's, I love this. I love the look of him in this.
Yeah, it's really dialed in, like perfect at this point.
I agree.
We cut back to, this is where, Gordon and Donald Thompson have dug up the grave or they've dug a grave and they're, this is where the spooky skeleton pops out.
Yeah.
And
you shit yourself immediately.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I laugh.
It's very Army of Darkness. It's very, because it's like stop motion. And I'm sure a lot of that similar sort of either rear projection or forward projection like they did in that movie as well.
It looks good.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's stop motion in a live action movie, so it's always going to look a little strange. But
Yeah.
this reminds me of the Terminator. It's like the stop motion in the Terminator is a little clunky, but it's like you don't care. It's a storytelling device. Who cares?
Yeah, the guy who had done the stop motion that I had mentioned earlier, he also worked on the Terminator, so that explains it.
Yeah.
But Nancy's dad, fights the skeleton and he like is thrown back and he's impaled on one of the Cadillac's like spoiler fins, which is like a giant spike. And Freddy's skeleton then like throws Gordon, knocks him out and throws him into the grave and like half buries him before like just like collapsing into, a pile of bones.
I love the idea that Freddy is so strong at this point that he's like, because he like stops himself in the middle of a thought and he's like, hold on. And he leaves.
Yeah.
And you can tell through the device of storytelling as they cut back to the two of the men, like these men that are doing this, that Freddy was like, man, somebody's touching my motherfucking bones. I'm going to kill these sons of bitches.
Which is like, we talked about this with Freddy's Revenge. It's where the confusion comes from, that scene where Jesse and Lisa are at the like Freddy's old boiler room. Yeah. And then we hard cut to the basement and then we go up to the sister's room and it's like, is this happening at the same time?
But where that was confusing, this is like, it's shot so much better to where he vanishes from them and then the skeleton assembles itself. And it's like, holy shit, did he just, because another thing is if you take the rules of the first movie into consideration, the fact that he is now able to just pop into the real world, inhabit his own body and start killing people. It's like, oh, he is much stronger now.
Yeah.
And that's, for our purposes, a child murderer possessing his own fucking skeleton that just killed a strong and able, well, he was drunk, but he was a strong and able man. The scariest part is that Freddy throws him into the fender and it stabs through him. And then he's like, oh, and he gets out and he gets into the car and he's driving and he hits Freddy with the car and it's a DUI. None of that happens, guys.
I'm glad you specified that.
Yeah.
But while Freddy's been away, they are trying to escape now, and they're in this like hallway that's just covered in mirrors.
Yeah. This is a cool sequence.
I love this sequence.
Yeah. I think it might visually be not a kill, but a visual sequence. I think this might be the most impressive thing in the movie.
Yeah. It's interesting because they're making their way down this hallway and it's like mirrors of all different shapes and sizes all over. And then, but there's no exit. They can't, find a door. And then Freddy kind of appears like, he's digitally imposed over all the mirrors.
But it doesn't look bad. The tracking is a little strange. None of them are like facing in a way that's kind of natural. It is an 80s movie. It is a late 80s horror movie.
There's no CGI at this point. It's like they're having to,
But you kind of expect the look to be a little like this. And honestly, the visual and what he's doing to them and how they then handle that is great. Love it.
Because he appears laughing in all these mirrors, and he ends up grabbing each of them and like pulling them through. Besides Joey, who like backs into a corner.
And their like legs are kicking, and they're being yanked into these fucking mirrors.
Yeah, and as that happens, like Joey, who has been mute this entire time, he then finally like
gets his
finds
dream
his power,
which
and he
is awesome.
screams. And his voice is then so loud that then all of the glass in all the mirrors down this hallway all shatter at the same time, and all their bodies come flying out into the hallway.
And I love the celebration of like, oh my God, Joey, you did it. You saved us. And he's like happy. But this is the reason I keep saying it's a superhero movie, because it's literally like, oh yeah, and this kid is Black Bolt. This kid is, he's got like, or like the Banshee, he's got like the super voice that saves them all. And it's like, and you're so close to the end of this movie that it's like, that's such a good payoff for right at the end. I love it. I love that whole sequence.
And then Nancy hears her father
in
like
this
call
next
her
room.
name.
Yeah.
And they go into the next room, and her father kind of like appears,
like visits her in a dream one last time.
Yeah. And he reveals that he has crossed over, and it's like he finally like apologizes to her, and they have a bit of a moment together, only for it to be revealed that it's actually Freddy in disguise.
Because he knows he just killed her fucking dad. He's a psycho.
Psychopath.
Oh shit, dude. Was that Christian Bale?
Yeah. But he stabs Nancy in the chest, and Kristen, comes into the room and tries to fight him. And I think the door like slams shut behind her so that the rest of them can't get in.
She's screaming for Nancy. She's so sad that she's dying. And in this moment, I couldn't help but think of Holes when Sam is dead. And she's going, Sam. And she's going, Nancy. And it's just so similar because she has that way of speaking. And I was like, dig him up. But I can't do it anymore because we'll get canned on YouTube. We have to pander to YouTube, guys.
Yeah. That's what we're doing here.
Well, we're just pandering. Not specifically to YouTube.
This whole thing is a cash grab. Kristen tries to save Nancy in this moment, and Freddy goes to stab her as well. But Nancy grabs Freddy's arm and like shoves his own glove into his chest. And this is then like Gordon has now woken up from being half buried in this grave. And he pulls Freddy's bones down into the grave and like sprinkles the holy water, and he says a prayer with the cross over it. And Freddy, like, bright light begins kind of like shining through and I like the effect. Like, I like what they're kind of doing here, because as Gordon like splashes the holy water across him, like light beams start.
It is like where the water has hit the bones, what would then be in relation, the parts of his body those bones are in begin to like burst light out of them. Yeah. And I just love the idea that like, oh no, they're really going for the fact that he is a demon, that only holy like rites and rituals can affect him because he is demonic. They've called him a monster. They've called him a man. They've called him the boogeyman. They've called him all these things. But no, he's just a fucking demon plaguing kids. And it's like, that's really fucking cool.
And I like it because after the holy water, he uses the cross and he like touches it to the skull. And then Freddy gets the cross across his forehead. And then he spins around and the light just keeps building and building and building until he just like disappears.
It's like his reaction, which I like the duality of this, because he does just kind of dissipate into light, but his reaction is like he is fucking exploding.
Yeah.
It is like pain. And then, I mean, that is where he is gone from this film now and seemingly destroyed. Now, guys, this is 3 out of 8. So don't worry, he's going to be back. But for now, he's dead.
But then Nancy dies in Kristen's arms.
And we lose that character. And it is heartbreaking because it's like, we just got you back.
Yeah. And like, as the other kids come into the room, because the door, opens up finally, Kristen's crying and it's like, don't worry, Nancy, I'm going to dream you into like a beautiful dream, where you can live forever and ever. And I don't know, it's just kind of this beautiful moment of like Kristen doing everything that she possibly can with this power that she has for whatever reason to try and like comfort this person who, she's only known the last week of her life.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's just something very moving about that.
I agree.
Nancy's funeral.
Yeah, the kids are all there. Dr. Gordon is there. And then the biggest takeaway of this scene is what we've kind of already revealed, which is Gordon sees the nun one last time. She is revealed to be Sister Helena, and she is revealed to be Freddy Krueger's mother.
Amanda Krueger.
Yeah.
1907 to 1968.
And this is when he realizes that she was the spiritual foible. If Freddy is the devil, this was the angel working against the possession because she feels responsible. And then she too is just kind of gone from sight.
Mm-hmm.
And if this franchise had ended here, that is the perfect ending.
Yeah. It's a nice little, either a 2-parter or even a 3-parter if you take, Freddy's Revenge into there. But it's like, it's the thing that Wes Craven wanted to do.
It's why I said it's the perfect sequel.
Mm-hmm.
And every question that wasn't answered in the first, they answer in this. They expand on things, but not too trivially or not too in any kind of boring or dissatisfactory kind of way. It is such a good movie.
Yeah.
And from here, the needle dips a little bit. I'm still excited to talk about Dream Master. I think that movie's good.
Yeah, I enjoy that movie as well.
But like the rest of this franchise, we're going to dip in all of these movies until eventually we get to the best ones, which is Freddy versus Jason, and then whatever we talk about after Jason X.
Okay. Well, see, I thought you meant, Jason X is the best.
No.
Come on, man, admit it.
Derek, do you recommend
Absolutely.
this movie? I do too. I don't even have to think about it. It's like, if you want to know what this franchise is, I would even say like, if you don't love movies, if you don't love horror movies, but you want to get an idea of this movie, you want the best representation of Freddy, of the series, of Nancy, of all of this, I say go just for this one.
Mm-hmm.
It encapsulates so much about what makes this series great. Robert Englund's performance, Heather Langenkamp's performance, Patricia Arquette's performance. Everyone is dialed in. Their characters are great, believable in the world that has been created. I have almost nothing negative to say about this movie.
No, this is, as much as we enjoy the original and how kind of fully formed it came out.
Yeah.
For this franchise and for this character, this then, builds upon all of that and then sets the course for the remainder of this. Cause this is where, like we said, it's not groan inducing. I enjoy the one-liners in this.
Yes.
It's like Freddy has a one-liner for every kill.
He's also kind of the first to do this.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're not taking into consideration the Nail Gun Massacre, but that might be later and is also barely a real movie. So he's probably the first to do it famously.
Right.
And Robert Englund could just literally every time he kills them be like, fuck you. And I'd be like, go get him, Freddy. Go kill those children.
But it's also like, it's the first time that he is then using, the thing about them against them to kill them.
And in a way where people in the outside world genuinely believe that they are doing this to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It shows okay. If Nightmare 1, because you said that right, how fully formed it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Nightmare 1 is all of the bones, all of the skeleton, all of the skin, the eyes, the brain, the teeth. You can see it all working. This movie serves as the ligaments and the nerves. It lets that body move more smoothly, feel more natural. It just fills in those blanks. Mm-hmm. And if there's one thing I've learned in this life, it's very important to take care of your nerves.
Yeah. Now, with that in mind, if we're building this like this kind of image in our heads that you're describing.
Mm-hmm.
What movie in the franchise is the big blue dick of this Dr. Manhattan that we're building?
Freddy's dead. That's why the dick is blue, is because he's dead. Thanks for tuning into the Third Channel Podcast. Please, if you have the time, rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcast apps.
You can follow us on social media at Third Channel Podcast, and you can find me online at @DRosenberg.
You can also reach out to us at thirdchannelpodcast@gmail.com, where we check every message we swear. Third Channel is hosted by PJ Minette
and Derek Rosenberg. Theme song and audio engineering by Fly Guy Ty.
The logo designed by Bell DeVelco.
Episode artwork by Nathan Walkington.
Keep it tuned right here to the Third Channel for all things horror. And remember, don't touch that dial. Egg salad and eggs.